for this?
What?
The Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. And now it's time for America's favorite daytime fun show.
I feel like the show's gonna be great.
I think we got a show. Oh, yeah, we got a show. We definitely got a show. Oh, yeah, there's a show.
Because this show is important.
Are you engaged to two people and want to make a choice on our show?
It's showtime.
Great show.
Did your spouse or lover leave you for a relative and you want to confront them both on our show?
Sorry about that. The show's gotten a little lowbrow.
It's showtime, baby!
All the shows will be doing it.
Thank you, America. That's our show.
What? Great, man. Okay, it's magic time.
Well, now listen, you have a great show.
We got a great show for you today.
Is it the greatest show?
We try.
I don't know about
We try.
that. Pretty sure.
No
not.
guarantees.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. We are live from the Dreamstar Remodeling Star 88 Studios. It is Thursday, my dudes, and welcome to the show. Facebook Live and YouTube Live and everybody else out there streaming us, downloading us on the podcast. We're on demand, iTunes, through the app, Star 88. You can download right to your phone and stream us. Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing? Everybody good? We're gearing up for Easter. Can't believe Easter's already here.
Yeah, dude, only a few days away.
Ready Player One hits the theaters tonight. Definitely going to see that this weekend.
That's right. It dropped today.
That's right. Today.
It's already out.
Today. So is it in theaters like today or
Yeah, dude.
tonight?
No, it dropped a day early.
Really?
Yeah.
Ow. I just hit my ear.
They put it out on a Thursday.
No way.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Let's go.
It is in theaters now.
Yeah, if you missed Steve-O's review, Brody also called in and reviewed it. You guys can hit that up on demand. I like the soundtrack a lot. The
Dude.
soundtrack is great.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I've only heard about 3 songs, so. What's your favorite song from the soundtrack?
Aha, Take on Me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, I don't know. That World in My Eyes by Depeche Mode might actually be it, but
Yeah, that's a good one. Too bad this movie wasn't in virtual reality.
oh
How far away are we from that? Theaters with virtual reality.
man.
That's enough out of you, Aha. That's enough out of you. Morning, Jeff. Good morning, Simon.
Yeah, we need to help Jeff this morning. He said, I thought I'd say it's going to be one of those days the voices in my head are already arguing.
Yep.
My imaginary friend running around with scissors, and at some point, one of my personalities wandered off, so we got to be careful.
I hear you.
It's a Thursday.
Oh, yeah. I feel awful.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're here. We're going to do it till 10, and then we'll call it a day. We'll call it a day after that. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
You can text in. What's that number?
505-585-LIVE. That's 505-585-5483. Remember, the Stormy already chiming in, saying, we watched Ready Player One yesterday.
No
and
way.
It was great.
Good.
Somebody else said, morning, my brothers. Y'all watching that Krypton TV series? Kind of digging it.
Yeah? How many episodes are we in?
2.
2? I got to watch it.
Dude, you do absolutely got to watch it.
Okay.
Although I will say it was on Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi can get away with some things that I didn't know you can get away with on television.
Yeah. Yeah, so be careful there, parents.
Yeah, not for the littles. Not for the littles. Or the teenagers even at one point when I was like, whoa, all right, well, let's all just skip this scene.
Wow.
Cool.
Okay. It's good to know.
I just wish people would put some more clothes on.
By the way, Krypton is where Superman's from. For all you people out there.
Wait,
that
what?
aren't nerds.
Spoiler alert!
Sorry. My
Just
bad.
kidding.
My bad.
The TV series is about Superman's grandfather.
Wow. So it's like a prequel.
Yeah. Well, obviously, because Krypton's still around.
That's true. Krypton is
If you know
destroyed.
anything about Krypton or Superman's story, the planet blows up, which
Yeah.
is why Superman has to come to Earth. So it takes place, a few hundred years in the past. But on the very... Yeah, I don't even want to ruin it. It's really good.
Come
really
on.
good. There may be some time travel involved.
Ooh.
There may be some connections directly to Soups himself.
Nice.
It's dope.
Good. Can't wait. Phone lines are open if you'd like to call in. 505-338-3700. Let's check the voicemail. We haven't done that early.
That's true.
You guys can call the live line. 505-585-LIVE.
Next message.
The Star 88 and Morning Invasion has really helped me with my faith and my Christianity to make the world different. So I really appreciate you guys.
Beautiful.
And Steve and Mark are really awesome.
What?
So thank you. All right, bye.
Really?
I'm Steven.
Mark.
And you're apparently Mark.
I'm Mark. You know what? He's just trying to be funny is what he's trying to do. I think they're just trying to be funny. You know who I am.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
Does anyone really know who we are?
That's true.
Jesus does. And he still loves us.
True dat. True dat.
Next message.
Come with me, and we'll be in a world of pure morning invasion.
Yes.
Open your ears and you'll hear an assault of oral sensation.
Oh, man.
We'll begin with a grin, traveling on a wave of starry station. What we'll hear will incur fascination.
Favorite voicemail of all time.
Hold on a second here. I think we need to mix this up for a second.
Come with me, and we'll be in a world of pure morning invasion. Open your ears and you'll hear an assault of oral sensation. We'll begin with a grin, traveling on a wave of starry station.
Starry Station.
What we'll hear will incur fascination.
Yes! That was great!
Yeah, whoever did that, if you're listening,
Oh,
let us know.
man.
We got red tickets or Tyson Motzenbacher if you
That
want that.
was awesome!
Text in, we'll let you hook you up.
Oh, man!
It's pretty good. Yeah, you know, if your voicemails are good, fantastic prizes await. Treasures. Unknown treasures await for the best voicemails. We should set up a Willy Wonka style tournament or a Ready Player One tournament.
Yeah.
So is that a tournament in the movie? Is it? So it's basically a race to gather the Easter eggs to inherit the kingdom.
I mean, yeah, that's
the virtual world.
Essentially, yes. Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. Totes.
You know, and that's what we could do someday when we're rich and famous and we own our own morning show and radio station.
Yes.
When we're ready to retire, we could have this giant tournament, and whoever wins
Gets our show.
gets the whole radio station.
Do whatever they want.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
That was dumb. We'll never own a radio station. I don't think I'd want to own a radio station. We only have a couple years left, guys. Radio's going to be done.
That's not.
It's going to be done.
Yeah.
We'll be sitting in our basement at our parents' house doing a podcast when we're 50.
Remember the Star Army just chimed in and said, OMG. I did the Brady Bunch promo, and I bowed down to that Willy Wonka promo. Great job.
Hey, Brady Bunch, you want tickets to Red or Tyson Motzenbacher? Huh? Look us out. We'll hook you up. Yes.
Hook us up. We'll hook you up. You know what I'm saying? This is really exciting.
Let's wrap it up, guys. Let's go.
That's all we got. There ain't no more. Time is tight. It's the end of the show.
Yeah. We're like 10 minutes in.
We're 10 minutes in. Are you kidding me?
Good news, ladies and gentlemen.
Good news is good news, and the good news is...
I've got good news and good news.
Pretty good.
Put some good in your morning.
Good news, there's a monkey jumping on houses in the neighborhood.
This guy's chances of not being a bad husband were about 1 in 1.3 million.
Oh.
But somehow, some way, it worked out. Because a guy in Norfolk, Virginia named Oliver Davis Jr. recently promised his wife, "Hey, I'll stop buying lottery tickets." Apparently, he liked to buy $20 scratch-offs, so he'd been wasting a lot of money.
Ugh.
Wife was upset. You better stop.
Well, yeah.
I promise. I won't. Well, last Friday, he went out to pick up a few things.
Oh, no.
And he says he just had a strong feeling that he was a winner. Classic gambler mentality. Well, he ended up stopping in at the corner store where he used to buy tickets. He says he just wanted to say hi to the owner. Right.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Sure.
I'll just stop. I haven't seen him in a while. I'm just going to stop in. He ended up breaking down and buying a $20 ticket for a game called Super Cash Frenzy. $20?
$20 ticket, dude.
This is like Willy Wonka. And he scratched it off. So he didn't have to tell his wife about it. But then he did have to come clean about something. Because after he hit the jackpot for $4 million, he's going to be running home telling his wife, "I'm sorry. I know I promised. But we just won $4 million.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, here's the question. Are you mad? Or are you excited? Because he still he lied.
Broke a promise.
Yeah, he promised he wasn't going to do that, and he did it anyway.
He did it anyways. Here's Oliver.
I came yesterday to go to the Food Lion to pick up a few things, and I just kept having this feeling of this itch that says, "You're a winner. You're a winner. You're a winner." And I was still hesitant about coming in because I told my wife I wouldn't do it. I promised her I wouldn't do it, But so I stopped in to say hello to Herschel because I used to come here all the time, so while I was in there, I saw that ticket, and I said, "Herschel, let me get one of those." He looked at it, he gave it to me, and I was scratching it the whole time, thinking, my wife, I promised her I wouldn't do this anymore, Herschel. And so I kept scratching, and I said, "I'll just do it this once." And when I got down to the bottom and the 40 matched the 40 top, I was like, okay, probably $30, $60. But when I scratched it out and saw those numbers, kind of lost my breath a little bit, and I gave it to Herschel. I said, can you tell me, is this for real? Feels great, just knowing that I had the opportunity to be a blessing, retire my wife, and be a blessing to my family. That's the greatest feeling that anyone can have, just knowing that you can take care of your family. So it feels great.
You better donate all that to charity or Herschel. I don't know, man. That's crazy. I mean, that's kind of cool. He won $4.4 million. But at the same time, he promised his wife.
Gosh.
You better take that wife out for a nice Sizzler dinner or something, 'Cause that's what it's going to take. Sizzler dinner. If you take your wife out to a Sizzler dinner, all wrongs are made right. In a world you will see where you'll buy a $20 ticket.
No, stop it.
Scratch it off and you'll see that your world will change beyond imagination.
It's terrible.
Okay.
Dude, that's still terrible.
No, it's not, man.
Dude, he broke a promise to his wife.
It doesn't matter. He's $4.4 million richer now.
Gosh.
I can't imagine buying a $20 just scratch-off ticket. $20 on one scratcher?
Man, I'm with Thebes on this. He goes, cool, rewarded for addiction and lying. Legit.
Yep. Welcome
He
to Earth.
lied. He made a promise he wasn't going to do it again. He lied about it. He scratched off the ticket at the little shop so that she wouldn't even know about it, and then he was busted. I want to get busted like that. I would like to get busted like that.
Here's what
If I'm
stinks.
going to be in trouble, I'd like to have $4.4 million to hand to her as I'm being in trouble.
Clearly, Oliver has a gambling addiction.
Yeah, dude.
And clearly, that $4 million is not going to last very long.
It's terrible.
Because he's going to continue to go back. That's what happens. You just continue. You win, and you keep going back. Oh, I knew this guy. He lived with his mom, and he was in his 70s, pushing 80, and he lived with his mom. Mom was pushing 100. And he would spend all of his retirement money on scratchers. All of it.
I don't get it, man.
Every single dime. And he would win $200 here. He won $1,000. Like every 6 months, it seems like he'd win $1,000, but he was spending over $1,000.
Yeah.
Like he was probably spending $2,000 a month off of just scratchers. It was insane. That was his life.
See, Joel says he will forever say, remember the jackpot? And she won't be able to argue with him about anything. Man, I hope not.
Yeah.
He sounded, okay, I will say this. When I heard his voice, it kind of changed things. He sounds like an older gentleman. Like, I just went in there to see Herschel. It's my boy. I used to go in there all the time. But then he started talking about getting that itch. And then I started getting itchy looking at the scratchers. Like, man, you got problems.
Yeah, you do. It's bad. Stay away from those guys.
Yeah, dude.
It's not good. Although the Powerball, I think it's up to like almost half a billion.
See, Britt says loyalty means so much more to me than money. I was literally just talking to my kids about this. There you go. There's your next illustration for.
Yeah, but $4 million loyalty? Come on. Britt, come on.
You would sell me out for $4 million?
Yeah.
Dang.
I would hope you'd understand.
Would I get some of it?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I get it. Yeah. I understand. I already forgive you.
There you go.
I already forgive you.
See, it's all good.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Sorry, I just blanked out.
Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Blind Greg from Waukesha, Wisconsin. How are you guys doing?
Blind Greg.
Triple G.
What's up?
Hey, I was going to tell you guys that I knew a guy who paid his way through college by playing poker.
Oh
like
my
every
gosh.
night, literally, like he would play poker. And I was like,
Crazy.
dude, you know, why do you go out and play poker every night? And he's like, this is how I fund college, man. I'm like, I kind of felt bad for him. Like, I kind of like was like, dude, if I could give you the money to pay for college, I would. Because first of all, I'm sure I went to a pretty expensive liberal arts university here in Wisconsin. I'm not going to say the name, even though I've probably said it before on air. But it's you know, fairly hefty price tag wise, and he would just go every night and he'd play poker. And he said that's how he funded college. I'm like, wow,
that's crazy, man. That's crazy. You know, I think it's important, Triple G, to remember: for where your treasure is, there your heart will be. Also,
your heart is. Yeah.
And also for all our gambling addict friends, for every winner, there's 1-point-something million losers. So the odds are not ever in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't the Hunger Games, yo.
That's right.
You gonna die.
I was listening to this guy who's super wealthy. He probably got $100 million. And he was talking about if money made him happier. And he said that when he first got wealthy, sure, it was great. I got to buy all of this stuff that I've always wanted. I could go out and buy a Lamborghini. I could travel wherever I wanted. I could buy anything, and he did. But after a short period of time, that stuff means nothing because you've already got everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it changes because people that don't have money, think about when we get something cool, how great that feels. It makes us feel happy for that moment, and it makes us feel like, oh my gosh, we appreciate it, or we worked hard for that. Now this guy who's got $100 million in the bank, that happiness, it's gone. Like, he doesn't have that anymore. Yeah. So he's got to find happiness in all these other things that, he's just constantly searching for that happiness. And it's hard. It's almost like a drug addict trying to get that high again, and he can't find it. So I understand that,
Yeah, I've some friends who've been to, like, mission trips in Africa and Kenya, and some friends who just went there, and they say, those people are the happiest people in the world. Yeah. And guess what, you guys? I don't know of too many, maybe there is, too many gambling places in Kenya, Yeah. They're happy because all they've got is what they have.
Yeah, family. They have family. They have each other, and
right,
they're a community where they help each other. Mm-hmm.
So I also, countering that a little bit, I also had a cab driver who told me once, I still don't know if I believe him, but he told me once he had a slot machine in his bathroom.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm like, really?
Wow.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. All right, Triple G. Good talking to you, bro.
Yeah, good talking to you, too. Hey, what movie should I go see in the next couple days?
Ready Player One?
Ready Player One is a lot of visual effects, though.
Yeah, that's true.
The story is mostly through visual effects. I mean, there's a lot of action, and it's pretty over the top. I'm trying to think how much dialogue is really in there. Yeah, no, it's a lot of action. Yeah.
Okay, well, if anyone has any suggestions of what movie the blind man should see, call or text.
You got it, man. We'll let you know. Later, Blind
Sounds
Greg.
Good, guys.
See you, man.
Later. Right. God bless you guys.
God bless you,
too.
Love that guy.
Like, what movie should he go see? Gosh, that makes me sad. Ready Player One is so good.
Ecclesiastes 5:10. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This, too, is meaningless.
Nope. Okay. Oh, man, I Can Only Imagine. He should go see I Can Only Imagine.
Okay, yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, there's no visual effects or anything in that. That's
it's just a good story.
Straight dialogue.
Yeah.
There you go.
Lots of dialogue.
I can only imagine.
Although the end where I bawled like a little baby is all visual.
That's true.
I don't want to say anything.
That's true.
But my Lord.
Good call.
Guys, I Can Only Imagine is so good, and I'm saying that legit. Like, it is so good.
Good story. It's a good story.
Oh!
All right, good morning, Facebook Live. Good morning, YouTube Live. You guys can go watch the show. Go subscribe if you haven't yet. Star 88 FM. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll do a round of headlines. We're going to discuss some April Fool's Day Easter pranks. And we got a question to throw at you coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. It has to do with holding the door for someone.
All right.
505-585-LIVE. You want to text into the show? We'll be right back from the Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 Studios.
We all want the best future for our children. Our next generation of leaders needs a strong foundation. With small classes, a great sports program, and affordable tuition, Evangel Christian Academy strives to equip students for the work God has for them. ECA's mission is to educate students spiritually, academically, and physically. Our philosophy is to prepare students for the work God has for them. We endeavor to challenge each student spiritually through daily Bible classes and discipleship. Since 1976, Evangel Christian Academy has been serving children from preschool through 12th grade and is accredited with the Association of Christian Teachers in Schools, North Central, and the state of New Mexico. located at 4501 Montgomery Boulevard, Northeast in Albuquerque. Call 505-883-4647 to learn more, or go online to eCanNM.info. That's eCanNM.info.
Here's a Star 88 solar flare with Danny Goki. I'd rather be a light than add to the darkness. I want to leave this world better than I found it. Star 88 and a solar flare.
I'll smile, know what it takes to fool this town. I'll do it till the sun goes down, down through the night time. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what you wanna hear. I'll turn my head and shed a tear. It's never the right time. Yeah, I'll put my arm around, show you how strong I am. I'll put my arm around, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm running with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. Break down, only alone I'll cry out loud. You'll never see what's hiding out deep down. Yeah, I know, I've heard that to let your feelings show is the only way to make friendships grow. I'm too afraid now. Yeah, I put my arm around, show you how strong I am. I put my arm around, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm running with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I put my arm around, show you how strong I am. I put my arm around, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm running with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today.
Here's Louis Giglio from his message, King or Pawn.
Nebuchadnezzar took the people, the best of the people of Jerusalem, captive in Babylon. And we see this in the history of God's people. They will call out to him in mercy, and he will relent. They will walk away from him in pride, and he will break them and put them in bondage until again they cry out for mercy, and then he relents. This is the history of the people of God. And frankly, it's my history, and it's your history. We cry out for mercy, and God moves in power. We walk in pride, and we end up again in bondage. And then we cry out for mercy, and God relents in power. And this is how humanity chooses to do life apart from the Spirit of God who leads us to a different way of life.
That's Louis Giglio with a Stardy 8 PowerPoint.
What's going on in the news today?
Ty Cobb, dealing with the Russia investigation, says, quote, no pardons are under discussion or under consideration at the White House. That statement comes as the New York Times reports a lawyer for President Trump discussed the idea of pardons for former aides Michael Flynn and Paul Manafort, as special counsel Robert Mueller was building cases against them.
For now, the president must contend with accusations he is improperly collecting profits from his luxury hotel in Washington. The president has claimed his business arrangements pose no conflict.
The NAACP now leading one of the lawsuits against a planned change to the 2020 census, adding a citizenship question.
We believe that there are constitutional limits on how badly the government can conduct the count.
Brad Perry, general counsel for the civil rights group, echoing the argument in multiple state lawsuits that immigrants will end up not being counted because they're afraid to answer.
In Orlando, a jury's now deliberating in the trial of Noor Salman. She's the wife of the Orlando nightclub shooter, Omar Mateen, accused of helping him plan the attack.
Welcome to the show, everybody. How's everybody doing? Guys, we just watched the funniest video ever. And did you post it on Facebook yet?
I posted it, dude.
Yeah. You guys need to go to Star 88 FM. And yeah, this guy posted a video of a kid crawling under the door of the bathroom stall where he was going number 2. This guy was going number 2 at like a Chick-fil-A. And this kid was in the bathroom by himself, and he needed help washing his hands. So let me play some of this. This is really funny.
Man.
Hold on a second here.
Okay. What's your name?
Andrew.
Okay.
He crawls under.
I want somebody to hold me and help me wash my hands.
I think your mom's outside.
What?
Bro, that's mouthwash. I think your mom's outside, bro. No.
So the kid he crawls under the bathroom stall inside where this guy's going number 2. And so then the kid's like, oh, okay. So he opens the door, and then this is the guy's reaction because he's sitting on the toilet going to the bathroom.
Can you just... All right, yeah, that's fine. Can you shut the door behind you?
You just gotta lock it.
Yeah, I'll lock it. Thanks, bro.
You just gotta lock it. You guys have to watch this video.
We posted it to Facebook. It is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. It's got 10.6 million views, and the dad actually replied.
Oh, he did? What did he say?
He said, hey, Drew, that's my boy. I am terribly sorry for the intrusion. He's very, very friendly, sometimes a bit too much. You handled it extremely well. Thanks for being kind to him. I truly appreciate your understanding and sense of humor about this.
That's so funny.
The best part is Drew replied, no, Mr. Stevens. He didn't even call him by his first name. Mr. Stevens. It's okay. He was doing what kids do. I'm sure I did the same thing back in the day. You got a good kid. He seems fearless and definitely outgoing.
Yeah. A parent needs to be with that kid at all times.
So, yeah.
Somebody else tweeted back, that would have been hard to explain if their parents came in there. What would happen if their parents came to check on the kid and the kid was under the stall?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
What's interesting is Lynn Stevens, the father of the kid, is the executive director of external communications at Liberty University.
Wow.
I'm just going, what?
It's pretty good, guys.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I can't say that anything like that's ever happened to me in the bathroom. Somebody else even posted their bathroom experience. Some kid just kind of peeks down underneath.
That has never happened to me.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm weirded out about I can't do that in public. I can't.
Oh, that's good.
I won't. I'll wait. I'll get the crampies.
Yeah.
I'll just wait till I can go
No,
home.
I'm kind of the same way.
I want to.
Yeah. 505-585 Live. You want to text in. Good morning, Facebook Live. Good morning, YouTube Live. You can go there and comment on the show. You can watch us in the studio.
Britt says, I hate when kids do that. Kids do that?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Little brats. what they are.
Okay. Yesterday, we talked about a brand new television series making its return after 21 years. I said, everybody needs to watch this. It's going to be something special. Oh, man, when we were kids, remember Roseanne?
Heck yeah.
And apparently, America was like, heck yeah, man. Because the premiere of Roseanne attracted 18.2 million viewers on Tuesday night, which is really incredible. In fact, it's double what ABC was projecting it was going to do.
Jeez.
It was also more than the 16.6 million who tuned in for the series finale in 97. When audiences mostly stuck to the main broadcast networks, weren't diluted by DVR streaming, high-quality original programming, non-broadcast platforms like cable, Netflix, Hulu, whatever. According to ABC, this is crazy. It is the highest-rated sitcom broadcast on any network in 4 years.
Wow.
Not since The Big Bang Theory in 2014. So, okay, here's the thing. For the record, that measurement was the, quote, 5.5 rating in the young adult 18 to 49 demographic. I mean, this is like what just happened. Roseanne just took the world by storm. ABC actually is re-airing the first 2 episodes this Sunday, which is both Easter and April Fool's at the same time. Not that either are related to Roseanne in any way, shape, or form. And you know one of the fans of the revival. His name is President Donald.
Oh, yeah.
Trump.
Did he tweet?
Well, Donald Trump Jr. anyways.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Donald Trump Jr. He tweeted, quote, wow, amazing. Congrats, Roseanne. If you're not too busy already, maybe working a late night show too. It seems there's some demand for an alternative viewpoint. Am I right?
Yeah, I wonder, because I watched it on Hulu yesterday. I watched both episodes.
Yeah.
I wonder, so that's 16.6 million or 18.2 million.
18, yeah, the 18.
Is that just people that tuned in live?
Live on Tuesday night.
Yeah, so I bet you
That's
people
insane
that watched it
to
online through the ABC app, through Hulu. I wonder what those numbers are. Because I feel like more people do that now.
Yeah, it was the highest rated sitcom broadcast. This was the broadcast numbers. I did watch it live, so I was one of those people. But man,
I loved it, man. I watched both episodes yesterday.
Right?
And you're right. It was just like,
dude,
never stopped.
They rebuilt that set entirely. Like the house was rebuilt, and it looks dead on.
Yeah.
21 years later. Like, where do you find that couch?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
You know, I heard an interview with John Goodman years ago, and he was mostly drunk throughout most of the filming of Roseanne back in the day. Like, he can't remember most of it.
Which is so tragic. I'm so glad he cleaned up.
Yeah.
He was great.
I was always waiting for him to be like the guy that was going to have the heart attack.
He lost a ton of weight.
Yeah.
He did. They both look
No, they both look pretty healthy.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Remember the Starmy chimed in on the live line, said, I watched Roseanne last night. I loved it. All caps. Somebody else said, can we please stop rebooting everything from the past? Like, it's really getting annoying. Does anyone have an original thought anymore?
See, I understand that, but at the same time, I'm okay with this reboot. This is a great reboot, and I don't know. I think they come out with original stuff all the time.
And I thought the conversations that they were having within the show were new ideas that needed to take place in our 2018 America. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's hard to launch a sitcom. Sitcoms don't take off like they used to.
What's funny is when you see the media respond like the media. I was telling you yesterday, I was reading CNN's review of it.
Yeah.
And of course, CNN destroyed it. Had kind of a similar thing. It's trying to be a nostalgia trip, but it falls short.
Of course they would destroy
Tired
it.
of reboots.
They're left wing. Fox News, did they
I don't know if they. Yeah,
I'm sure that
so
they praised it.
Yahoo which is pretty left of center, actually was praising it, even though it's got a pro-Trump platform because it still allows everyone to have a voice.
Yeah, Jackie, Roseanne's sister, she hates President Trump. My favorite
and Roseanne
part
haven't spoken for a year because of it.
When Jackie was talking about how she didn't even vote for the person she wanted to vote for. Do you remember she said she voted for some doctor?
Oh, yeah, Jill Stein.
Jill Stein.
Gosh, I laughed so hard at that moment.
That was great.
Because I had those friends, man. But here's the interesting thing. As we talk about how it's like pro-Trump or anti-Hillary or whatever, when you watch the show, if you hadn't watched it, they never utter the word Trump or Clinton.
Oh, really?
They only refer to them as that man or that woman or he or she. And without even using any names, everybody immediately was like on one side or the other. Like it was, they did a really good job. Really, really good job.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. You guys can stream it.
Yeah.
Or through the ABC app. It's pretty good. It was fun. I'm glad it's back.
Yeah. Moving on. Today is one of the most important days in the history of the world.
Baseball.
In fact, I'm leaving at 8 a.m. so that I can start watching the games.
Good. We can wrap up the show at 8.
It is opening day!
It's already back.
It's opening day for Major League Baseball. So, I'm just saying, today should be a national holiday. I mean, let's be honest. And yes, they're kicking it off on a Thursday. On a Thursday!
Oh, boring.
Oh, yeah? Well, for all you Major League Baseball fans out there, here's what it costs to be a diehard fan of each team. I can attest. I caught a couple games at spring training, and wow.
Yeah?
It was not cheap, even for spring training. Wow. The Chicago Cubs are the most expensive team for fans this year.
Oh, yeah.
Just under $16,000 if you went to every home game at Wrigley Field. Crosstown rivals, one of the cheapest teams in all the league. Talking about the Chicago White Sox. They're just under $5,500. That includes the tickets, parking, food, drinks, a hat, and a custom baseball jersey. So here you go, fans. The three most expensive teams are the Cubs, the Red Sox, and the Yankees. Did anyone think otherwise? The Cubs, the Red Sox, the Yankees. On the flip side, the cheapest team to be a fan of is your Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Oh, really? Your team? Are they the worst?
No.
Well, then why are they the
They're
cheapest?
the worst because our owner, Artie Moreno, is dope. He loves the game of baseball. He is awesome.
Wants to make it affordable?
Huge fan of Artie. Yes.
Does he give out free hot dogs?
On certain nights, yeah. They run promotions.
That's pretty cool.
They have like a kids club. They've got like a family pack, things like that.
Do they have jumpers?
What is this, like the Isotopes? You mean
Just
like
ask
in the
them, man.
outfield?
Answer the question.
Gosh, they have like a kids zone area.
That's cool.
Anyways,
Cotton candy?
The three cheapest are the Angels, absolute cheapest.
Pickle dogs?
White Sox, and then the Rays are the third cheapest.
Do they have pickle dogs?
They don't have pickle dogs. That's a Texas Rangers thing.
They should have dilly dogs.
Stop interrupting me. I'm talking baseball.
How many fried foods do they have there?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. It's Anaheim. They have like sushi. I'm not even joking. You could totally get sushi. Their staple.
They have pho.
I will say at spring training, each ballpark has their own thing. You know, like the Texas Rangers has the dilly dog. We talked about that. It is a cored out dill pickle with a hot dog in it, and then deep fried and battered like a corn dog.
That's beautiful.
We're having one in June.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I'm serious. We're having one in June. When we go out there to Dallas, they're playing in Arlington against the Astros.
I'm going to get a pickle
We're going
dog.
to a game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making everybody go to a baseball game. You have to.
I'll give you a pickle for a tickle.
So
why did you look at me like that?
Just came out weird, man. I know you were trying to rhyme, but like, nope. Spring training, they had different things.
Yeah.
And I won't say the price, mostly because non-com. We were at the Angels spring training facility, and their, hey, this is our niche thing that we do every year, was a nachos and a batting helmet. So I got a life-size Angels batting helmet.
Which player wore the helmet?
Oh, yeah. But it was like barbecue brisket in there.
Oh my gosh.
It
That's
was
crazy.
Like loaded nachos, and it's like you're carrying it back. All 5 of the Jeters indulged in that.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Last time I went to Isotope Stadium, they have the giant nachos, I think for $15. Yeah, I ate the whole thing.
You know what the funny thing is? That's more than what it was for.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm telling you, they were trying to keep it affordable, at least for spring training. The average for all 30 teams is just under $8,000 if you wanted to go to every home game live. But this year, average ticket prices are about $65 for a baseball game.
Stop! This is so boring.
I'm sorry. It's crazy.
It's opening day, guys.
Okay.
Baseball.
Another study looked at all the giveaways each team has this year, things like free hats, bobbleheads, whatever. The teams giving out the most free stuff, the Cardinals, the Dodgers, the Cubbies, the Mets, and the Pirates.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go. Maybe that's why the tickets are so expensive, because they're, quote, giving away free stuff. Fine, I'll move on. Fine, I'll stop talking baseball. Gosh, dude. Another one bites the dust in the Facebook Cambridge Analytica mess. You know, Cambridge Analytica.
Are we deleting our Facebook pages?
Will Ferrell announced yesterday that he's deleting his Facebook account.
Facebook is a joke.
In a message on Facebook, he said, I know I'm not alone when I say that we're very disturbed to hear about Cambridge Analytica's misuse of millions of Facebook users' information in order to undermine our democracy and infringe on our citizens' privacy. In this day and age, with misinformation running rampant, it's important that we protect the truth as well as those who work to bring it to light. I can no longer in good conscience use the services of a company that allowed the spread of propaganda and directly aimed it at those most vulnerable. Yay! Goodbye, Will Ferrell. You're hilarious, and I will miss you.
I just reached 5,000 friends a little while ago. I don't know if I want to delete my Facebook.
He said in 72 hours. He didn't want to delete it immediately because he wanted to give it time for the message to get across to his fans and followers. But he did say he's always had an aversion to social media. So.
Wow, he's got 10 million people.
10 million people follow him.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Just stick with Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if this is really going to affect Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, people were commenting on him deleting his page over, like, the Cambridge Analytics, but somebody said, I'll say this, if people are basing their political election decisions off of Facebook, we have a much bigger problem than the Russians or this Cambridge Analytica stuff.
That's true. It's a good call.
But sadly, that's what happens. I hate Facebook. Yesterday, I came so close to getting sucked into an argument because somebody posted one of those stupid, why is it so popular to have just like, oh, check out my like opal background and just words, just read these words.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you just like say that? Why you got to make it all like frilly and weird?
Yeah.
Somebody posted one of those and it was like, oh my gosh, okay, this is a gross overgeneralization. Oh, I'm going to stare at it. Oh, type. Oh, delete. I can't do it. And I didn't.
Good job.
I did not engage.
Good job, man.
But I will say, that was yesterday. I woke up this morning, and I'm not kidding you guys. I rolled out of bed, and the first thing I did was I went to that post on Facebook to see the comments, to see if anybody had said anything similar to what I was thinking. It was like, nope. just go. And I just got off
What
of Facebook.
post was it?
Nah.
Tell me about it.
Nope.
Blast him.
No.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, sad members of the Star Army chiming in talking about the Astros repeating. That's cute. Somebody else said St. Louis going back to the World Series this year, calling it now. Sorry. No more.
Sorry. Had to go back.
No more. Do we have time for one more?
Sure.
Okay.
Make it fast.
Well, I mean, Easter is coming up this Sunday.
Easter's.
But guys, we might not have to wait till Easter for Jesus' return.
Okay.
A guy called 911 to say he'd returned to Earth and broken into a Pizza Hut.
Oh my gosh.
Because, you know, in the book of Revelation, this guy obviously has some mental health problems. So we don't want to rip him too much because he may find us and murder us. However, he placed one of the best 911 calls we've heard this entire year. His name is Richard Quintero. He called 911 in High Point, North Carolina last Thursday, which is about 75 miles northeast of Charlotte. And he just wanted to let him know that he was Jesus the Christ.
High Point 911, what is your emergency?
Yes, this is Jesus Christ, and I just broke into the Pizza Hut. I broke the window in, and I'm here. Jesus is here now. He's back to earth.
All right, and so you don't work there?
No, I just broke in, had a pizza. I'm Jesus.
And what was your name again?
My name is Jesus.
What's your last name, Jesus?
Christ.
Okay, and what do you look like?
I look like Jesus. What else do I supposed to look like?
Why'd you do that?
Because I'm Jesus. I can do whatever I want. We're tired of Judases on this earth. We're going to clean this earth up. So what are you up to?
Well, where do you live at?
I don't. I'm from heaven.
How'd you get over to the Pizza Hut?
I'm from heaven, sir.
Okay. And did you break a front window?
Yeah, I broke the door window, sir.
And you eat a pizza?
Yeah. Had a Mountain Dew.
My favorite part is he's so serious, and then he's like, "What are you up to?" Poor guy. Oh my gosh, poor guy.
Oh man! To be fair, he was totally cooperative when the cop showed
well,
up.
That's good.
Yeah, he's been charged with breaking and entering and larceny. But man, if we know anything about Jesus, he's a chain breaker.
Oh my gosh. This is it, guys. We're done. Chip just texted me. We're toast. It's been real. Yep. It's been real.
Ain't no bars can hold Jesus, man.
All right.
No bars can hold Jesus.
That's why I like Star 88.
We gotta take a break. We're live from the Dream Style Remodeling Star 88 Studios. Hang out.
So, what problems do you wrestle with? Finances? Relationships? Guilt over the past? Anxiety over the future? No doubt these cause stress, but nothing compares with one major issue everyone faces: death.
If there is a resurrection, death just died.
Easter sunrise at UNM Stadium with Skip Heitzig, with worship by Battle Drums and Sarah Reeves. This Easter can be a life changer for you. Easter sunrise, 7:30 a.m. April 1st at UNM Stadium.
Death is conquered. You see, when Jesus died on a cross, he conquered sin. When Jesus rose from the grave, he conquered death itself.
All the information about Calvary Easter events at EasterABQ.com.
Tony Evans. This is a Star 88 Supernova.
To look to your horoscope for guidance is to look at the heavens that God has made, so that you are literally choosing it as an idol, because now it is competing with God. So once you look to God and look to his word and then look to the horoscope, you have now brought idolatry into the house of God. That's because the culture's doing it. Or you'll hear people talking, they'll say, what's your sign? You a Leo. You are, as though that has anything to do with the price of tomatoes. is to look to the creation, Romans 1 says, which is to insult the Creator. So it's bad enough you adopted it in the culture. It's even worse when you brought it into the house of God.
That was Pastor Tony Evans on a Star 88 Supernova. KLYT, Albuquerque, Santa Fe is Star 88.
That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
The Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O.
It's about time. Shut up.
We didn't get a chance to do some good news this morning.
Good news, ladies and gentlemen.
Good news is good news, and the good news is...
I've got good news and good news. Pretty good.
Put some good in your morning.
Good news, there's a monkey jumping on houses in the neighborhood.
Three guys near Hilton Head, South Carolina, took a small boat out on a river last Wednesday, and it capsized in 30-mile-per-hour winds. The water was pretty cold, and hypothermia started to set in. Well, luckily, two of them made it back to shore, but 24-year-old Mason Ringer couldn't make it back. He tried swimming for a while, but couldn't beat the current. Then his feet cramped up, so all he could do was float. So this guy's ready. He's ready to just call it a day. You know what? This is how I'm going to die. This is how I'm going out. I'm going to drown. Until...
Oh, no.
A random dog heard him yelling for help.
Stop it right now.
A 7-year-old yellow lab named Woody happened to be outside, jumped in the water, and swam straight for him.
This is why dogs are so much better than cats. Oh, so much better!
Mason grabbed its tail, and the dog started to pull him back. Then he lost his grip, so Woody turned around and swam back for him. Let him grab onto his collar and pulled him the rest of the way. Police think Mason probably would have drowned if the dog hadn't saved him, and apparently it wasn't trained for this or anything. It was just instinct. Sounds like a pretty special dog, though. He also climbs trees, which is kind of odd, and his owners trained him to sit when he hears a C strummed on a ukulele.
What?
Okay. Mason and his friends are all fine. He told a local reporter that he was planning to, quote, buy that big old dog a steak. That's right. I love it.
Quote, buy that dog a big old steak.
Yeah, you didn't have to go on. I mean, it could have gone either way.
You quoted someone.
I know, but I mean, yeah.
I am a journalist. I have journalistic integrity. If you quote someone, you've got to get it right.
What kind of dog was it again? It was a...
I thought it was a golden retriever.
Golden retriever. Those dogs are so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I had friends that had golden retrievers, and they are... I mean, some of them are pretty amazing, and some are just derelicts. Just...
That's a good word.
Awful, awful dogs. But for the most part, they're pretty good dogs, and they'll save your life.
Dude, Rocket, he has taken to a bad habit recently, and I'm like, I got to kick this habit. When we were out of town, we had a house sitter, and the house sitter didn't know all the dog rules. One of the rules being not allowed on the furniture. So we came home, and there was a nice little oval ring on one of our couch cushions and hair.
Why didn't you put a blanket down or something, man?
Because we don't allow him on the couch, and he's never gotten on the couch.
Oh, come on.
So now, ever since we've gotten back, I'll walk upstairs for something, I'll run downstairs, and he'll be sitting on the couch and give the look and be like, oh,
I know I'm not supposed to be here.
I'm getting off the couch.
Gosh.
Like, I don't even have to say anything because he knows.
What a brat.
But if no one's around, homie jumps on the couch. So I tested him over the weekend and put all of the pillows out on the couch, like laid out flat so that he couldn't just get on the couch. And I came downstairs, and the pillow where his spot was moved onto the floor, and he was on the couch in
Oh
his
my
spot.
gosh.
I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Spray bottle.
My dog has a spot, but it's kind of endearing and cute because I love him and he's cuddly.
Well, put down a blanket, man. Put a cover over your couch or spray bottle. That works. That's how you
Why
get.
would I spray my dog? Yeah, I know, but he's not a cat. You spray cats.
No,
you
do
love dogs.
No, well, you love dogs, but Peterson's did that too with Dexter and his barking on the TV.
They don't have real dogs. They're like little drop kick things. Like
They're not
like-
real dogs.
They're like this big. I shouldn't say that. You know what? I'm sorry, Lily and Dexter. If
That's
you're
right.
listening, I love you both.
They listen every morning.
I've never wanted a small little hand dog or whatever until I met them.
Small dogs are dogs too, man.
Yeah, they're
Okay?
all right.
All right.
They're all right.
Good morning.
The Morning Invasion
Part of a complete breakfast. You're stupid.
with Dex and Steve-O.
Good morning.
Hey, the Moana is, there's one movie that has real bad like satanic stuff, so you guys need to be careful.
Moana?
Yeah.
What kind of satanic stuff does Moana have in it?
Well, it's there's one movie that has I can't remember. It's
Phone lines
I
have
can't
been jammed
remember
for 10 minutes,
what
and
it has.
this is the one you answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. I have a question for you. Have you seen Moana?
No.
Okay. Thank you for calling.
I'm going to Google this and see what I can find.
No, because I don't even want to give
What
this.
about Paul? Hey, dogs, what about Paul?
What about Paul? Say it again. What about Paul?
Yeah, what about Paul?
Is that?
Have you guys seen it?
Oh, that's the movie that's out right now. Paul? Paul the Apostle?
Yeah.
Haven't seen it yet.
We did see I Can Only Imagine, though. I feel like you definitely need to see that one. Right up your alley. It's a fantastic movie.
Did you watch the Satanic Deception and Disney movie Moana on YouTube?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to watch this and I'll get back to you, okay?
Hey, I heard you guys talking about Ratatouille.
Yes.
Ratatouille is so lame.
Why? Why? Because it's a rat? What do you have against rats?
Rats are for eating all kinds of scummy things. So Ratatouille's lame.
It's not lame. This is a great film. In your opinion, what's the greatest Disney Pixar movie of all time, in your opinion?
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man? No, pick again. You can't pick Spider-Man. Out of all the movies we just mentioned, which one?
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. There you go. That's a good one. It's a classic. That's a great love story. I'm with you. I think it's great. I don't think it's going to make it very far.
It makes it to the shot against
I don't know,
Aladdin.
man. Night Before Christmas is pretty popular
So
with
is
the
Little
millennials.
So is Little Mermaid. I mean,
the millennials love Night Before Christmas.
The Beast would beat the mermaid, dude.
No, I do not agree with that at all.
because he was a gentleman, and why would he do anything like that? I mean, hashtag time's up, man. That's not cool. Beast would never do anything like that. He treated Belle with respect. You know what I'm saying? He fought
Beast
for
would
her honor.
beat the mermaid, would tear the mermaid up, dog.
I think you're wrong, but you know what? We can agree to disagree.
Thank you for the call. I can't breathe, dude.
See you later, dog.
Goodbye. I believe that guy is completely wrong. Beauty and the Beast, there's no way. There's no way.
My personal favorite.
Wake up, get up, 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 wake up, get up.
It's the Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O.
Time beside the cold, I find you in trouble, and to be the one I love the most. We've wasted time, you said alright, we'll find a cure if we can hold on. Holding on is the hardest part when your body could lie beneath the dirt. Blame, it's always on the inside. It's in my heart, stuck in my head. It's a feel in my heart, maybe my love slipped away. In the deepest part, I'm finding grace. You don't have to find another one, 'cause I'm right here now. Will our love remain? Blame, it's always on the inside. It's in my heart, stuck in my head. Contriving fear, I let it guilt me. Forgive my heart if I let it remain. If I can protect you and keep you near, will that repair all of my distant days? You don't have to find another one, 'cause I'm right here now. Will our love remain? Blame, it's always on the inside. It's in my heart, stuck in my head. Contriving fear, I let it guilt me. Forgive my heart if I let it remain. Holding on is the hardest part when your body could lie beneath the dirt. Holding on is the hardest part when all I can see is how I've hurt you. And I wish you could stay, 'cause you know how this fades away.
The Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O.
Welcome to another episode of 3 Degrees with Brian Nixon featuring Dex and Steve-O and the music from Stephen Michael Jeter.
Well, this is very lovely music. It was
It's 3 degrees on a Thursday, and we have Brian Nixon. He's finally back from vacation. Wish he told us last week so we didn't look stupid when we totally teased that he'd be on the show. But then he wasn't because he was on vacation and he didn't freaking tell us.
Come
and we
on.
look like idiots. Oh, sorry, I forgot where I was.
Excuse me.
Guys, I am so sorry. And you know what's funny is I'm usually really pretty good at letting everyone know that I'm gone. And then all of a sudden, I didn't let you guys know.
It's all good, man.
That's okay.
I had
Well, I didn't even remember.
Yeah. You've made a whole song of it. The bitterness has run deep. now it is memorialized in a song.
Mm-hmm.
It was a beautiful song, though.
It was
Steve-O.
great.
I mean,
it wasn't your best, but it
wasn't my best.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It was my son's last spring break as a high schooler.
Whoa!
So we kind of did an art trip.
Did you? Where'd you go?
Well, do you really want to know?
Well, I mean, if it's fascinating.
Okay, so we stopped in 3 places for 3 different art stops. So first was Las Vegas. We went to see a Cobb by James Turrell, which is an immersion art experience.
I love a good Cobb salad.
A Cobb is A-K-H-O-B. It stands for pure water in Egyptian. And if you don't know who James Turrell is, you really need to know, because in probably the next 50 years, he will be one of the great household names for artists, because he's the guy, maybe you've heard of this, that bought Rodin Crater, a volcano in Arizona, and has hollowed it out and made it an art installation piece.
Wow. Oh, yes. You've talked about this.
Yeah. So when he's finished with that, he'll probably die, because he's in his 70s right now, but he'll probably die before it's complete. But when they finish this, he'll go down as one of the great living artists. People will be lining up to, get into this place.
Did you guys go see the Da Vinci?
Not yet. We haven't.
Code?
No, the Da Vinci exhibit here in town. But so we did James Turrell in Las Vegas, and then we went down to L.A. and saw the Broad, which is the new contemporary arts exhibit.
They prefer to be called women. It's 2018. Okay, hashtag time's up. You don't call them broads.
Well, I didn't name the museum. I didn't name the museum. Eli Broad.
Broads. Weird.
Eli Broad. He can't help his last name.
True.
That's his last name. Eli Broad. So they have a collection of his art, which is pretty stellar for a contemporary collection. And then we ended our time in San Diego, where we went to the Timken Museum in Balboa Park.
Oh, I love Balboa Park.
Yep.
That was my old stomping grounds.
Yep, Balboa. And so the Timken, it's right there by that little water thing right in the middle of the park. And they kind of have the classics, but they have a really fine collection of Russian icons and Christian-themed art. So it really is a fabulous exhibit. So we did three major exhibits there, guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now it's 3 degrees. With
now
Brian
it's 3
Nixon.
degrees. So, as you guys know, in the news, there's been a lot of talk of the Russians killing a spy in England, right?
Really?
And
I haven't heard about this.
No, I'm like, what? I was busy watching Roseanne.
What do you mean? Catch us up.
Yeah. Well. You guys know this. You know that there was a spy who spied for the West. He defected to England, and Russians came in and secretly, poisoned him and his daughter. And then, conspicuously, another Russian spy was murdered in England as well. So Western countries have been, kicking out Russian consulate and and so on and so forth. You've heard of all this.
Yes.
So I thought it would be appropriate that we look at, on this day in 1951, one of America's biggest spy cases was tried, and the 2 were found convicted.
Really?
Okay, guys. Yeah, this was huge. Obviously, before any of us were born.
Yeah.
But it was so big, they considered them kind of like the new Benedict Arnolds. I mean, this was on every newspaper, on every television station, which in those days was probably 3. And, it made international news. It was so big. So here's the story. In one of the most sensational trials in American history, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg were convicted of espionage and spying for their role in passing atomic secrets to the Soviets.
Wow.
After World War II. The husband and wife were later sentenced to death and were executed in 1953.
Jeez.
So on this day, in 1951, Ethel and Julius Rosenberg were convicted of the largest spy ring in American modern history. And so the question is, do we have Ethel and Julius to blame for the Soviet Union's having atomic weapons? That's the question. Do we?
I mean, it sure sounds like it.
Yeah.
My Imperial spies say no.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I agree with that dude.
Well,
I agree with everything he says.
He sounded pretty tough.
Yeah.
I must admit. So, but here's something interesting, guys, for us a little more locally, that New Mexico actually had ties to this spy ring. Albuquerque and Santa Fe both had ties to this larger spy ring, even though this couple was from New York. One of the brothers of the two actually was working loosely with the Manhattan Project, and he was one of the conduits of getting information from the U.S. government and giving it to Julius and Ethel. So not only is this a national/international spy case, but it had connections to New Mexico.
Isn't there I don't know if it's a pizza place. There's a restaurant in Santa Fe that isn't that the building where it took place, some of the espionage, some of the spies?
Pizza Hut.
It was Pizza Hut.
there is several buildings in Santa Fe. As a matter of fact, I know we've talked about this on 3 Degrees when it was called 3 Degrees to New Mexico, but there was a lot of spy work in Santa Fe. I mean, Santa Fe for a short period, particularly from 45 to 55, was ground central for spies. There were probably more Russian spies in Santa Fe than anywhere else because the Manhattan Project secret office was in Santa Fe. Today, I think it's a gallery, so it's right off the plaza. I forgot the name of the gallery. It may be Blue Man Gallery or something of that nature. I'd have to research that a little bit more. But the building is still standing, and it looked just like a front, like people would walk by and go, oh, you know, what's that? But in the inside was the Manhattan Project offices. And so all the Russians were descending upon New Mexico, obviously because this is where we make bombs, both Los Alamos, Sandia Labs. And so people were coming here trying to get information about what was happening. And what's funny is I've read reports of, you know, the Russians, just like, you know, people go overseas and you kind of want to see some sights. So some of the Russian spies would, you know, take pictures in front of the St. Francis Cathedral or in front of the, you know, the Adobe homes and, you know, kind of treat it like a tourist. But what they were really doing is they were trying to get stuff. Yeah. So the buildings are where the Manhattan offices were. It's a gallery today. The what was, I think it still is, the Haagen-Dazs ice cream shop right there off the plaza.
Yeah,
that used to be, I think, a pharmacy back in the 40s and 50s. And in the back room of that place, there was spy work being done. And then there is one other place, which I do think is like a pizza parlor or something of that nature, where spies were living and conducting their business. So Santa Fe particularly is chock full of locations for spies. So if you're into espionage, and you know there's that new TV series, what's it called?
The Americans.
The Americans.
Have you seen it?
I haven't.
It's been out for, I think there's 4 or 5 seasons.
This is the final season.
It's a good show.
I've heard it's really good, but that's kind of how it was in Santa Fe. You know, they would you know, train what we consider Americans to be brought up, but really what they were is they were inbred spies.
Right. That's what's so crazy about the show. It's based in the 80s. And so these spies come over here and they act like they're married.
Right.
And they have a normal job. And then they have kids.
Right.
But they're like James Bond type characters where, you know, after the kids go to bed, they go out and they do things to collect data or kill people.
Exactly.
And then they come back and try to live this normal life. And it was fascinating.
Yeah. And here's the reality. That type of living is still going on. You know, there's a big case. A lot of people who are into espionage and spies and such, they say that this model that we still use is an outdated model that, you know, it's from the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
So why are we still sending spies and espionage when you have so much technology, so much other ways
into things
to get information? Why do you still send people to, you know, essentially be born and brought up in a community? Well, that still probably is one of the best ways to, get information. I mean, you
Yeah.
would think. What's also interesting, guys, I've been getting into typewriters. I've had an old typewriter, a Remington Noiseless for years, but I recently bought 2 other typewriters.
What's the fascination with the typewriter?
Well, probably part of it is that I grew up learning to type on a typewriter.
Yeah.
My generation, the Generation X, was the last generation to actually go to typewriter class. Your guys' generation, you learned on computers.
No, I actually learned on a typewriter.
Did you really?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Well,
that might have been rare because I grew up in this small
I was like,
school.
I did not learn on
we
a
didn't have
typewriter.
We didn't have computers in my school.
Yeah, in Montana, probably school districts,
Yeah.
smaller school districts that couldn't afford computers, they were still using typewriters. But so there's a little bit of nostalgia with it. But also, I watched this documentary called California Typewriter, and it really just influenced me to go, you know what? This is a beautiful art that still needs to have a voice, typewriting. It starred John Mayer and Tom Hanks and Sam Shepard and all the famous writers and musicians that still use typewriters to create their art. And it was such a great documentary that I thought, yeah, this is cool. So I found the typewriters, I researched, and I found the 2 typewriters that I love, and I went and I bought a Smith Corona Electra 120 and a Smith Corona Electra 220.
Oof.
So those are like my typewriters now. But I was watching this documentary, and then in my reading about typewriters, I found out that Russia and Germany are going back to typewriters on the internal communique of their...
Makes sense. You can't hack them.
Exactly right. Secret services are going back to typewriters because they said, we don't want Americans or British or French or Chinese or the Japanese to be able to hack what we have. So we're going to type out our briefs and communique and do it old school.
Better be careful. Someone sees you typing, they might think you're a spy.
Okay.
That's right.
Actually, if you're planning on typing, you should type a letter to John Mayer.
I should type a letter.
I'm not
to John
even
Mayer.
being funny. He posted his address. This is real. At the beginning of the year, he said for 2018, this was his plan to get back to like naturalism. Was he got a typewriter and he's corresponding with people every single day.
Wow.
So if you send him a 1-page letter, like properly formatted and everything, on a typewriter, he'll send you back a correspondence, which is pretty cool, man. John Mayer.
I'm telling you, you guys need to do yourself a service and watch this, because not only does it highlight all these typewriter collectors and big names that collect typewriters and use typewriters, but it follows a California business called California Typewriter and them trying to determine if they're going to stay open or closed. And really, this documentary...
Will you just tell me the ending? Can you just spoil it for me? Do they decide to stay open?
No
I'm
spoilers.
Googling it. I'm going. I don't want to.
No, it's a great documentary, and Tom Hanks obviously is the poster boy for typewriter collectors, and
he has over 200.
Yeah, and not only that, guys, he created an app called Hanks HANX typewriter, so you could actually send memos and emails and such.
That's cool.
Using a keyboard typewriter, but it gives the sound. You could pick your typewriter. I of course, when I learned about it, I downloaded it and have used it a couple of times.
Do you text me that way?
Well, I could. I haven't yet, but I could.
How much does a typewriter cost? Is it pretty inexpensive?
Okay.
Is it like the VCR now, where you go buy one for $10?
Well, now that it's popular again, they've gone up in price. But you can still go to a garage sale or a thrift store and find a decent working typewriter between $35 and $50. A lot cheaper than a computer. The problem,
what about the paper?
Yeah. Well, it's the ribbon. Honestly.
The ribbon, yeah, that is.
I'm like, where are we going to find these things?
Well, here's the cool thing. Before you buy the typewriter, you really need to investigate the type of ribbon you're going to use, because some ribbon has kind of went out. Late 70s, early 80s, all the companies decided to say, hey, we're going to create our own unique ribbon or our own cartridges that are unique just to ours. Kind of like what Apple does. So you have to buy their product. Don't buy those typewriters. If they are typewriters that use their own ribbon or their own ink, don't buy them because you won't be able to find the ribbon or ink. But if you go to pre-70s typewriters that use what is called universal ribbon, so it is a ribbon that was used in all typewriters, buy that typewriter. So you're safe to buy anything from, let's say, 1970 and earlier. And that's why I chose the Smith Corona Electro 120 and the 220, because they both use the universal ribbon. They're from the 60s, and you can still buy universal ribbon to this day. As a matter of fact, there is, here it is, gentlemen, a typewriter shop still in existence in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Really?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Is it on Manal?
It's on Manal.
I knew it.
It's on Manal.
I knew it.
I've been there.
There's shops on Manal. I'm just like, how are they still in business?
That is hilarious that it's actually on Manal.
It's on Manal. And
You're like, sheepskin
for
leather
real.
covers for your car.
Next time you go down Manal, just go, how are these people still in business?
Who needs these?
but get this. So I go into the typewriter shop
So funny.
on Manal looking for these typewriters
Oh
that I eventually had to buy from eBay. But I'm talking to the guy who's I think his name's John Lewis. I'd have to look that up, but it's John Lewis Typewriters or something of that nature. And I'm talking to him, and he said he is so busy, he's like a year of a waiting list year to get your typewriter serviced.
He needs to hire some more people to help him out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, you just lost me.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
No one knows how to work on typewriters
gosh.
anymore.
Yeah.
So he's so busy
It's a
because
lost art.
Exactly. It's a lost
Really?
art. And I go, well, why? And he goes, and then he didn't even know. He's like, oh, yeah, some famous person put out this documentary a couple years back, and now everyone's buying typewriters, and then they, or all of a sudden they just realize, hey, my grandmother had a typewriter, so they go get it out.
We're all a bunch of sheep.
And
none of it.
And they bring it.
For real.
And they bring it to him. And because he's the only place in town that will fix these typewriters, and he has like a year waiting list.
That's crazy.
This is why I just stare at my stand-up asteroids machine in my house. 1979 asteroids machine. I've had it since I was a child. It was my father's, and I just stare at it and go, "Man, I wish I could play you, but like 4 of the buttons don't work." Who am I going to call to service an asteroids machine?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, there are
check out
people out
Manal.
there.
Check out Manal.
Check out on
I
Manal.
guarantee you there's a place that does that on Manal.
It's true. But you don't have to. You could go to a typewriter shop to get the ribbon, but you could also order on Amazon. They sell
of
universal
course they do.
ribbon.
They sell. It's ridiculous. I don't know if I like them anymore.
They sell universal ribbon. So, and ribbon is only like $6.
Wow.
So the universal ribbon. So to answer your question, you could probably find a decent working typewriter for like $30. You buy the ribbon for $6 to $10, let's say, depending on where you go. And so for $40, you've got a working machine.
Wow.
So guys, you need to go into my office because I brought one of the typewriters
that's
here.
cool.
And not only that, we're using it to leave notes to one another. So everyone, we're not typing real stuff. So you guys need to get in there and type some kind of note.
Just sneak into your office when you're not there?
Yeah. Well, come on. It's our off. It's all guys. I have nothing to hide. So you just go in my office. I could show you how to turn it on, and then you just type. And people have been leaving some pretty cool stuff.
I don't know.
like
Steve
it.
would break it. I don't know.
No, it's
Why
really
would
good.
I'm
But
pretty gentle.
I don't know, man.
But
that
that
paper is
I got the
tough.
soft.
Don't you guys find it fascinating? Back to our original point that the Rosenberg trial, that some countries are going back to typewriters because you can't hack into a typewriter. But what they require you to do is have spies.
Yeah.
So it's keeping. So though there's a whole contingency of people who are saying, man, this spy is just kind of an outdated thing. You're going, no, it's not, because spies now need to actually get the physical documents that aren't being put on the computer anymore.
Gosh, remember the Stormy chimed in and said, I use a typewriter at work every day.
No way.
My boss is very old-fashioned.
Wait. Steve-O.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'll just ask them because they're listening.
Yeah.
Tell us what line of business you're in.
I know, right? Like,
we want to know. I want to know.
Use a typewriter at work every day.
Can I tell you it's become kind of a fascination? So I'm on my 7th book on typewriters. I'm reading like typewriter history books.
You're so odd.
And I've bought most of them. Okay, I've bought all of them. So I bought 3 online on their Kindle books, and then I've bought 4 hard
That's
copies.
ironical.
And so I'm reading all these books on the history of typewriters. Can I fill you guys in a little bit?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. So here's fascinating. So the modern typewriter is attributed to an American called Sholes. And they lived up in the great Northwest somewhere.
Dr. Sholes.
His
brother
No,
helps my feet.
there was actually 2, something of that nature. But they lived up not in the great Northwest, but the Great Lakes district area. And when they were determining how to do the fingerboard, it was really kind of a just luck of the draw. So today we all use, it's kind of the universal, what's called QWERTY, QWERTY. That's just because where the letters are in a row. But how they came up with that is that they were just looking at the letters and trying to space the letters accordingly. So when the hammer with the letter on it comes up, they don't get stuck.
Yeah.
So throughout the years, different people have tried to come up with a better system so there wasn't this kind of weird, fingerboard. But by the time other people came up with different systems that were more user-friendly and so on and so forth, QWERTY was already so ingrained in our consciousness that everyone's going, I don't want to learn a new system.
Right.
I know how to type based upon this keyboard.
Yeah.
So QWERTY was pretty much a quirky way of doing the keyboard. It wasn't a scientifically, it was just like, yeah, that one looks good there. So we have the American inventors who just kind of made up the fingerboard, and we still use it to this day.
Yeah, I mean, it works. I can type, I don't know, I can't remember how many words I can type a minute, but I'm pretty fast.
Yeah.
I have not used a typewriter, and I don't know how
Steve-O, at the next break, I'm going to show you how to do this, and you're going to leave a note on our typewriter
I can barely
note.
use this keyboard in front of me.
But here's the beautiful thing. That uses QWERTY. I mean, that is the QWERTY fingerboard, so you could go to any typewriter and type it up.
I just looked at the keyboard, and the top corner says QWERTY, and I literally just figured out that's what you meant.
Right. It's called the QWERTY fingerboard.
What's the difference?
Well, right now it's really the only fingerboard, but back at the
other fingerboards.
At the heyday of the fingerboards, they were trying different systems based upon letters used, how people would, what words you would be spelling, the most common words. But the keyboard that stuck was QWERTY because it was the first one, the first popular modern typewriter. But there are so many typewriters. And also, by the way, going back to California Typewriter, that documentary, they also highlight an artist that makes this amazing artwork out of typewriter parts. Now, he won't kill a usable typewriter. Usable typewriters, he will turn over to a typewriter company or group. He will only take parts from typewriters that have seen better days.
Wow.
So there is a huge collection, a huge people who are collectors in typewriters. To this day. It's like this big new phenomenon. As a matter of fact, here in Albuquerque, we have type outs. So you go to different coffee houses with your typewriter and you type your letters, your documents, and everything.
That's hilarious. Look at these typewriters, Brian. Do you have any of these?
So weird.
No.
So our friend, Starmy member, chimed in as a secretary for a naturopathic doctor in Los Ranchos.
Wow.
Dr. Moses.
Dr. Moses?
Also a beekeeper who sells honey in a bunch of stores.
Wait, can I just give a shout out to Dr. Moses? Dr. Moses, you may be my new hero for not only using a typewriter, but you are a beekeeper.
Yeah, shout out Dr. Moses for using archaic methods like, Moses.
Come on. Someone keeping it real and analog. I mean, by the way, my brother-in-law is a beekeeper too. And so
they need to hook up with Scotty's Pond Hive. You know what I'm saying? They can get some bees.
I just feel like people like that are stubborn.
Stubborn?
Yeah.
What do you mean? They just never wanted to indulge in this weird.
Yeah, they don't want to branch out. They're too stubborn.
They don't want to branch out. Says the guy who never leaves his room and watches Netflix all day.
Hey, Dr. Moses' secretary. Sadly, I don't know your name. I'd call you by your first name if I knew. But do me a favor. Tell me the brand and model of your typewriter.
Wow.
So here's the cool thing. The fact that she is still using a typewriter to this day, that means that typewriter...
And they're still in business.
Yeah. That typewriter is pretty darn
My
cool.
first Boston radio, Mr. Ryer Broadcasting in Bozeman, Montana. He was so stubborn, he would not use a computer. He would always just type everything out, and he would sit there and I just remember him and he would type everything, but you think it'd be fast? No.
You know what the funny thing is?
It took him 2 hours to write a letter.
I think in that regard, I'm pretty stubborn because if I get an email correspondence from somebody on campus, I'll walk over to their desk to respond.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. I hate sending emails.
Yeah. Right.
So I'll just walk over and be like, hey, man, yes to that, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, can you put that in email so that I have it down? And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
But I just told you.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. You know,
I hate
there
emailing people.
is, again, people love to have something analog like that. You know, it's kind of like the records, you know,
Yeah.
where people got back into the records and
Yeah.
they're now everywhere. The whole new thing, at least the last 3 to 5 years, has been this typewriter thing. And as a writer, you know, I love that. So here's a little bit of trivia as well. So the last typewriter here on Calvary's campus was given to me.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it was an IBM Selectric.
Ooh.
And by the way, what author used the IBM Selectric?
Oh, wow.
Selectric
What
was Hunter.
author?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hunter
yeah.
S. Thomas.
Oh.
Yeah, he used the IBM. So I've
Didn't
not
let
only
me
have I
guess.
researched the typewriters, I've researched the writers and the typewriters they've used.
Hank Moody. How about him?
Hank Moody, I don't know, but Tom Waits used an
Tom Waits.
Underwood.
Yes.
Um,
My wife still uses a typewriter at work.
does she really?
Yeah. She just texted
Chrissy?
in. I had no idea.
Chrissy,
From
what
time to time.
Chrissy, what brand and model do you use? This is important stuff to me now.
Do you? Now she's gonna what she's gonna do is she's gonna type that out and send it back because she wants to be old fashioned, unlike text. It'll take us 3 days to get the response.
So Chrissy, here's a cool thing. Something you would appreciate. Nick Cave, you know, who was
Nick Cage?
Nick Cave, one of the '80s. He was kind of like a sort of goth, you know,
He was
singer
one of the Mortal
songwriter.
Kombat guys.
Yeah. Nick Cave. He still writes on typewriters as well.
Wow.
He uses an Olivetti, or does he use a Hermes?
Olivetti, bro.
Hermes. John Steinbeck used a Hermes. Cormac McCarthy still writes on a typewriter. Oh yeah, there's a lot of authors that still use
It's a
a typewriter.
Royal. This is Adriana who works for the doctor.
No
she uses a
way.
Royal.
What model? Adriana.
Nobody cares.
I do. Adriana, I care.
This is so funny.
I-
We've been geeking out over typewriters for an hour.
So I just got
I
into
care.
this new thing where I'm watching movies only on Laserdisc.
Okay.
So,
Hey guys, guess what I went back to?
Shut up! You have a Laserdisc?
No, I went back to Rabbit Ears.
Rabbit ears.
Yep.
You're so hipster. You
God,
are the most
man.
hipster guy I've ever met.
Okay, but that's only part of the truth. So I went to Rabbit Ears on one hand, but on the other hand, I've done all digital. So I'm kind of like this digital analog guy. But I went back to Rabbit Ears for my local channels, and then I
This is
have
so
a
cool.
Fire Stick. But I'm going old school, guys.
That's great, man.
I'm
What
going
else
old
can we
school.
do to transform our lives to be old
Grow
school?
mustaches.
No, Laserdisc is a big one, man. I'm going Laserdisc only.
Laserdisc. Well, you to go analog, you really
Beta?
have to go back into the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's those people that go like to the old early computers like Commodore 64s and so on and so forth, which, by the way, I had a Commodore 64. I had the first portable Commodore 64. And I bet you to this day I could sell it for gobs of money, but I sold it a long time ago.
Wow.
Dude, I love the Commodores.
Commodore 64, bro.
You know,
it was a
easy like
computer.
Sunday
You know what we
morning.
should go
What?
back to is boom boxes.
Boombox. I mean, the big,
Right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why
No,
not?
because people still do that. It's when they want you to
No,
hear
that's
something
not
and
the
they
same thing.
cup the end of their
That's so
phone
stupid.
and they put it up in
No,
the air.
man. I used to have a boom box I had in my car because my radio didn't work.
But what's great about boombox is you had cassette tapes.
Yes.
And you put the cassette tape in, and you just played it, put it on your
Yep.
shoulder. Oh, those were the days.
Why are you guys scared of like
CD
to
Walkman.
progress as a society?
No.
There's so many great things about technology right now.
I am not anti. I'm not a Luddite.
What
I'm
is
not,
that?
Anti-technology.
That is a group of people named after I think
Ludicrous.
his Luddite that were anti-technology. During the Industrial Revolution, the Luddite movement came out of that, which were kind of influenced by the Amish and Mennonite. So they said, hey, if the Amish and Mennonite could do this, we can. So it was kind of the non-religious counterpart of people who refused to do the technology during the Industrial Revolution, and they were known as Luddites. Well, there still are Luddites to this day. Obviously, you have the Amish and Mennonite and some old order Quakers that have always done it. But even in the non-Christian world, there's a lot of people that are anti-technology that would still use analog and things to this day.
I mean...
But I'm not a Luddite.
If I didn't have the ability to text people, I'd still have to talk to people on the phone. Ugh.
Hey, guys.
Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah. I'm not anti-technology. I mean, I still write all my articles on a computer. I still send emails. I like technology.
Rotary phones. Let's go back.
Hey, we have a rotary phone at our house.
You do?
Yeah.
I have
We don't use
I will
it.
one up you on the phone that I have. I have an old phone that was my father's that you like crank and
No
you pull
way.
off
That
the-
is awesome.
Hello, yes, hello,
Hello.
operator, yes. Connect me to 423, please.
I'm
I
serious.
bet
I
you
really
it
have
still
one.
works. I bet you it
It
still
probably
works.
does. You can still crank it, ring, ring, and it's got like the bells
Yeah.
up
Oh,
top.
that's awesome.
I'm serious. My
That's
dad,
cool.
he collected stupid old things.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I have all of his
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm not going to be a typewriter collector. I literally just got working typewriters. I do have one that's not as old as you have on the screen there, Dex. But I have a 1938 Remington.
Wow. Worth money?
Well,
Are those worth any
sure,
money?
sure.
You know, Remington just had to declare bankruptcy because of all the gun stuff.
Did they really?
No, that's real, actually.
No,
like
that's
the oldest gun maker. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. They just had to file for bankruptcy.
yeah. Remington.
Wow.
The Remington gun makers are also the Remington typewriter makers. They split off into a sub company. So I have a Remington.
I have a
Crandall.
Remington.
That's a
Luke-
Crandall.
That's Luke's middle name, so technically I have a Remington.
You have
So
a Remington
I do
as
have
well.
a Remington.
Yeah, that's a cool
Tried to have
middle
a
name.
That was supposed to be his first name.
That's a cool.
So-
That's a cool name.
I'm gonna go back to the cool Matrix phone. Remember in the Matrix when you had to press the button and it like boom shot down,
Yeah.
and then you answered the phone that way? I want to do that. Brody's got a little flip phone that he's been messing with, and he's been playing Snake on. And I'm like, yeah.
Can I say though, back
Classic.
to Adriana, her Royal typewriter? I would be curious if it is electric or manual.
You mean to where it like goes back? Ka-ching!
Yeah, because manual it doesn't plug into a wall. It's just there, and you use the return bar, a manual return
Yeah.
bar. Electric is you have a electric return.
Yeah.
And so that transitioned in the late 60s and the early 70s, for wide use for electric. Though the first electric typewriter was made, I think, in 1918, though not popularized at the time.
If you guys want to call in, we got a little bit. We got about 12 more minutes with B-Nix. So you guys want to call in, Q&A. You want to talk typewriters?
Well, not only that. Let's talk about people, like how other people have went old school.
Yeah, what
obviously.
ways are people going old school?
I know the record. People have done the records. Some people said, "Oh, I'm going back to cassettes." Everyone has kind of a nostalgic thing that they remember that they want to go back to.
This is an IBM electronic typewriter.
Oh, from Chrissy's?
Yeah.
Let me see it.
Well, it's just the label. It's literally a 6715. I don't know, from 1985, manufactured in Germany.
Yeah. So the IBMs, they use their own technology. Yeah, that's like the Selectric almost.
You guys are nerds.
And what's cool about what the Selectric did? Here's the thing about the Selectrics, though. These IBMs by the 80s, they were using their own ink. And so the ribbon is very difficult to come by. You have to find distributors for it. They were also using the ball technology in some of the Selectrics, though this one looks like it is still using the regular type, bars.
I'll tell you one way I go old school that not a lot of people do.
Do it.
My car is a 6-speed. I refuse to buy an automatic transmission.
A 6-speed, not a 5?
No, it's a 6. And
Really?
so I drive a manual, like my car is a stick.
Steve-O, see?
And it's a 2017. Like
See?
I bought a new car and it's like, nope, I need manual transmission.
Nice.
I don't like automatic. I don't like that. It's weird to me. I had to
Steve-O,
rent a car
kind of
recently,
old school.
and it was like, "Do you guys have anything manual transmission?" And
And
they
they
just
laughed.
looked at me and laughed, and I was like, "Oh, I was actually serious because I hate automatic."
See,
like-
that's a little bit of old school.
so I think that's one way I'm like quote unquote retro because I I prefer it.
What car did you get that still had a 6-speed?
A Mazda 3.
Okay, Mazdas.
Yeah, you can get it, you can get
yeah.
them.
Well, Mazdas also in some Subarus because they're like little sporty cars.
My Subis always were manual transmission,
Because-
so I can't. Ugh.
Okay, Dex? What do you do to go old school?
I was thinking about it, and I have a 1999 Chevy Lumina, and it has a cassette player in it.
Nice.
I have a ton of cassettes for you.
Thank you.
I really do.
Yeah, and so I've been. Here's the thing: I rock the cassette every once in a while, but I bought that cassette adapter that you put in, and it goes into your iPhone, and you can just play anything you podcasts or Spotify. So,
bro, you need to rock the cassette.
I do.
You need to go to Goodwill and just buy up the whole shelf for like $3.
You are bringing back like classic Throwback Thursday, like for real, because now we're talking about like really taking it back old school. I like this.
Yeah,
This is good.
This is good. So has anyone chimed? Come on, people call in. And what do you guys do?
Rebecca, she said they've gone back to VHS movies because DVDs are so expensive, and you can find so many VHS tapes for a fraction of the price.
We still have our VHS machine.
Wakanda forever.
That's crazy.
Rebecca, that's awesome. Good for you.
Our boy,
Smart move.
Bill Peterson says he wants to go back to his flip phone because he thought it was so cool when you could just flip it open with your thumb. Brody has one right now. And he's constantly playing with that, and I'm going, that's really cool.
Flip phones are
Flip
cool.
phones.
You can still buy them.
Bill, when I moved to New Mexico, I still had a flip phone.
Man.
Awesome.
Somebody said, just a shout out to Beanix, love how you're so smart, but you can still rock the Chuck Taylors. I feel like that's actually that is smart.
So someone is actually watching.
Yeah. Watching
me,
them
bro.
Chuck Taylors on.
Look at that.
Yeah. So apparently, I'm gonna have to stick with Mazda because they're one of the few manufacturers
But by the
that
way,
sells manual
Chuck Taylor's
transmissions.
is old school.
It is pretty old school.
Chuck Taylor's are old school, as well as Stan Smith's and other shoes that people are going back and getting the vintage things. But we grew up with these.
Chucks aren't for wussies either.
No, these are real men's shoes.
No, man. People that wear Chucks usually have like thick calluses because they don't have any cushion.
Yeah, these are real men's shoes or real.
Oh my gosh, look at this. We're helping people out because Jarrett has a box full of VHS tapes they were about to garage sale. So now all of a sudden people are like, look at this. Just like a Craigslist on our Facebook Live. Cool. Carl says he actually has a laser disc with Star Wars.
Wow. See? And
that's awesome.
The early Star Wars, is my understanding, like on VHS, when they released it, has the original things that the newer DVDs and others don't.
Yeah.
So there are Star Wars collectors who specifically buy the VHS cassettes because they have stuff on them that were never released on the
Didn't
DVDs.
George Lucas recently come out and say if he could go back, he wouldn't have changed anything? Because he did make a lot of changes.
Gosh, some really dumb changes. Member Stormy chimed in and said, hey guys, I found my grandmother's old typewriter, decided to type an important essay with it, and so they got it wrapped up, but now they need to know where the print button is on the side.
Good call.
Anyone?
But wait, stop there. How cool is that? You find your grandmother's typewriter. Wouldn't it be cool if you find your grandmother's typewriter, get it in working order, and then kind of like type about her life and like, and all of that stuff.
Look at you, like
using the
finding
typewriter.
purpose with
Using the
really
typewriter
old things.
for a family meaning, and then keeping that typewriter in the family, and every generation of family members uses that typewriter to type out their like family memory.
Oh, phone call.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
So I have this 1970s, I think what they call like a buffet. It's an RCA. It's got a TV in the center, the little sliding doors, and then you open up the top flap on the left side, and it's a record player.
I'll give you $5.
The right side, it's the radio. And I'm wanting to. I thought we couldn't use the TV part to watch TV without the rabbit ears. I thought the technology had moved on to HD or whatever it was called, where you had to get a converter box.
Right.
So I was thinking of gutting the TV out to make it a shelf, but now that I hear Venus talk about going back to the rabbit ears, I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, I think you still.
You still have to get a converter, but they're really pretty inexpensive. They're like $15. You go to Best Buy or whatever, you get a converter, you plug your rabbit ears into the converter, and then the converter into television. Because all the TV signals are sending out in HD, but it will convert it.
That's so cool.
And it's worth it, man. That machine you just described keep that baby.
Well, he's
and
going
keep
to
it
because
running.
it weighs 700 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
It is very
keeping it
heavy.
forever.
It is very heavy. That wood.
let me tell you right now.
I got it.
Right now in
Tell
the
me.
quote unquote fashion world, it's called mid-century modern, and this stuff is being sold in shops.
Yeah.
You go and everyone's looking for the mid-century modern look, which basically means from like 1950 to 1970. And they're looking for furniture and tables and chairs that have the mid-century modern look. And man, you're sitting on a mid-century product right there.
I'll give you $6.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it for $40 at the flea market in
There you
Oak
go.
See,
There you
that's
go.
awesome.
It took 7 people
right.
to put it in the back of the truck.
So don't get rid of it.
There you go.
Also, I want to hook up the Atari onto it. That'd be even cooler.
Oh, the
That'd be
original
cool.
Atari.
That's so funny.
The 5200.
Oh,
I love
man, those are memories.
Yeah.
You
There
know,
you go. Thanks, Hans.
All right.
Here's the reality.
Throwback Thursday.
I wasn't a big Atari, but my brother loved video games and Atari, and my brother just moved back to town, by the way.
Did he?
And so he gets to kind of reminisce and live some of his childhood back in New Mexico.
What
as
does
well.
he do?
He, believe it or not, he just retired. Not in that he's retirement age, but he retired from Toys R Us. He was on the distribution side of Toys R Us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And no. Here's what's cool, is he actually retired before they went bankrupt and out of business.
Oh, wow.
So he put in his whole thing, and then literally 1 month later, Toys R Us
So it's his
announced.
fault that they're closing my favorite childhood store.
Well, yeah,
It's his
probably.
fault because they were like, "What? We can't do this.
We can't
without
do
him."
this. He's the guy that's been here the longest.
Yeah.
He knows how to distribute the toys.
Are we going to just start doing Throwback Thursday? Because I mean,
Good call.
technically, you go through history.
Here's what I think.
Which is a throwback.
That's right.
Thursday.
If we do Throwback Thursdays, we have to go old school. That means we can't do text messages.
Wait,
we
what?
can't do YouTube or
They're not-
Facebook.
oh,
They
it
have to
has
send
they
us
have to
letters.
call
It
in.
has to be just
They have
call.
to call us.
Or they send us letters
Yes.
via typewriter.
Or a fax.
Wait, you have to send us a letter, type it out,
Yes.
mail
Nobody's
it,
gonna chime in.
snail mail it,
Yeah.
and then we'll read it on the air.
Well,
That'd be
remember
great.
the Starmie can type something out for us because they actually have a Smith Carina given to them for their birthday when they were 13 years old, and they still have it now 20 years later.
No way.
They still use it.
Hey,
yeah.
shout out to Smith Corona. That's what I use.
Here's what I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
Smith
Let's
Corona.
challenge some Starmie out there. If you have a typewriter, we challenge you to write us a letter.
Yes!
And then next week, we'll read it on the air.
That's right. 4001 Osuna Road Northeast, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87109.
Say that again,
That's
Steve.
4001 Osuna Road Northeast, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Or you can just Google us.
87109.
Find us.
That defeats the purpose!
And hey,
Write us a
hey,
letter.
hey,
Phoenix will type you
De-
one back.
I will. Dex, Steve-O,
Yeah.
here's your guys' challenge.
Talk to
me.
If we're going to do Throwback Thursday,
Yeah.
all the music you play has to be from the 60s and 70s.
Oh, my
man.
gosh.
All right.
So next week?
So
There
next
we go.
week.
Next week.
There it
Okay.
It's our
is.
throwback.
All
You got
right.
it. Brian Nixon,
You
everybody.
guys rock.
3 Degrees. We'll be right back from the Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 studio.
If it's true that God's Word is living and active, how do you put it to work right now? James McDonald believes it's up to you. So listen up.
The closer we get to the cross, the more we turn from Jesus as our example, following him leads to a victorious life. And the more we turn our attention to Jesus' death in my place, believe on him for eternal life. Do you see? Like coming down a funnel, the more focused we get, the closer we get to the cross. It's less about Jesus, our example, and more about just this.
That's Listen Up from James McDonald. You can learn more about cultivating your relationship with God by going to jamesmcdonald.com. Listen Up is a production of Walk in the Word.
Star 88 thanks the Rain Tunnel Car Spa for becoming a power partner and supporting this hour of programming. The Rain Tunnel Car Spa with 3 and soon 4 Albuquerque locations, providing car washes, detailing, and gasoline. RainTunnelCarSpa.com.
This week on Connect with Skip Heitzig, Skip urges believers to be full of compassion.
The church ought to be the place where the walking wounded feel at home. People who are wounded and beat up by this world should be able to come because we revel in being tenderhearted with each other.
Connect with Skip Heitzig this week as he continues the series Rock Solid.
Sundays at 6:30 on the Mission Briefing. This is a fresh thought. Listen up to Levi Lusko.
This will change how you look at people because you won't just look at normal people. You'll look at people and see the glory of God inside of them. And here's the interesting thing. All of you, if you look around at each other, the person sitting next to you, people sitting around you, every single one of you is glowing. And I'm glowing, and we're all glowing. It has been scientifically proven that every single human body, listen to me, puts off a bioluminescent glow, but it's 1,000 times weaker than our eye's ability to see it. But if you look at people and you could see all the light that's actually there being put off by our bodies, but if you were to look at people and see them how God sees them, you would see Christ in them, the hope of glory. Even people who don't know Jesus, you would see what God intends them to be when they have the light of life inside of their eyes.
For more fresh thoughts, go to LeviLusko.com. This is KLYT, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, New Mexico's fresh alternative. Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O on Star 88.
Love it when you coming bunny hopping right along. Easter candy lover, eat 'em up, they're gone. Dropping up, you're hopping up as fast as you can. Easter bunny, kinda funny, I'm your fan. Yeah, yeah. You brought chocolate and lots of it, you know what I like. Left an Easter basket when you came last night. Springtime, right time for bringing me sweets. Leave the basket empty, yeah, you know me. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Come on. Take those eggs and gobble them up. Jelly beans and get enough. You're the Easter bunny. Ooh, you're the chocolate I love. Oh, the Easter bunny. I gobble it all up. You're the Easter bunny. I can't get enough. Basket full of sweets. Easter time full of treats, yeah.
That's right, everybody. Easter is almost here. And don't forget, you can join us. Steve-O and I are going to be broadcasting live starting at 6:30 down at UNM Stadium this Sunday for Easter sunrise service. We'll be doing that for about an hour, and then 7:30 a.m. Easter sunrise service will kick off with Sarah Reeves. Also, Battle Drums Worship. Message from Pastor Skip Heitzig. If you guys have never done an Easter sunrise service, you guys make plans, bring the family, grab some blankets, dress warm. It's beautiful, man. It's an amazing experience. So join us this Sunday. We'll be out there. Stop by. We'll have a booth set up. You can come and get some Star 88 swag. Thank you to Brian Nixon for joining us for 3 Degrees this morning. If you missed that, it'll be up on demand. It'll be up on YouTube and Facebook when we upload the shows. But we talked typewriters for about an hour. And we actually, during the break, went over to Brian Nixon's office. And if you go to my Instagram page or Facebook or Snapchat, you can actually watch us in his office showing off his typewriter. Because apparently he lets people just go in his office, and whoever wants to jump on the typewriter can jump on and write whatever they want. Send a little message. Or write a little message. Send a little message. Write a little message. So go check that out. Dex Toth on Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. 505-585-LIVE if you'd like to text into the show. You can also call us, 505-338-3343. Good morning.
Is this Dex?
Yeah, and I think I just gave the Edge phone number again.
Did you really?
I think I did. I think I just gave out the Edge line again.
You know what's funny? Is I think I might have accidentally dialed the old Edge number too myself, but I was trying to get to you guys.
I did. I think I just did. I said 338-3343. Gosh darn
yeah,
it.
that's not our number, bro.
Yeah.
That's
it's all right, guys. We're all having brain farts except for Perfect Steve-O.
Thank you.
He's so perfect, guys.
I don't want to say anything, but
he's so perfect.
I'll allow you guys to toot my horn.
Oh, Mr. Perfect. I see. Hey, listen, Dex, so check this out. I'm sitting there watching PBS last night or something like that. You know, my kids are watching PBS, and there's this thing called Skyjoring. Have you ever heard of that?
Skyjoring? No.
Out there in Skyjoring, it's like where they pull the skiers on by a horse, right?
Okay.
And you guys are like, it's a Montana thing. It's a total Montana thing. What's the big old Big
Sky or
ski
Bridger?
resort out there?
Bridger or Big Sky?
Yeah, Big Sky.
Yeah.
That's where it was at. It was at Big Sky.
Huh.
It's called Skyjoring. Yeah, I'm sitting there like, oh man, I could see Dex totally doing this with his big old beard. Woo!
Is that
running
a new
around,
thing?
being pulled out by a horse?
Is that a new thing that they started doing up there, or is that they've always been doing it?
I guess they've always been doing it, but he's just been hunting around, shooting the wrong things, man.
I guess so. You know,
Dude, it's a big sky country, man. You guys
Big
do all
sky.
kinds of stuff.
That's true.
All right. I thought I wanted to call you up and
No, I'll check that out.
Poke a little fun at you.
I'm gonna
yeah,
check
dude,
that out.
All right. God bless you guys.
You too, man.
I'm just enjoying.
What are you doing?
There's a brand new game that released today.
Please hold for the next available radio host.
Steve was playing his app game again.
No, it's
You
a
were
brand new
very
game. I'm
important.
trying to tell you guys
Please
about
hold.
it. It's What's
If you're
Happening
holding,
Thursday.
please hold. Man, you're impatient. Why don't you try clipping your nails while you wait?
Look at this thing.
Or just bite them.
It's like a brand new
Please
Marvel
hold.
game. It's like a
You know
whole
those dishes
universe.
aren't gonna do
Okay,
themselves.
fine, I'll stop.
Jeez, man. You
Marvel
know the
Strike
rule.
Force. Marvel Strike
I've been
Force.
pretty lenient on you and your app
It's
games.
crazy,
now you're,
right?
Now you're just really pushing it.
Brand new game.
Brand new game. That's cool.
Guys, I just typed something on a typewriter.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, go to my Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook page, and you guys can see it. Brian Nixon showed off his sweet 80s typewriter.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I can't believe we talked about typewriters for an hour.
Well, we talked about old school.
Well, yeah, we did, but still.
Yeah.
That guy can make anything fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be kind of fun to, I guess, go back. I don't know. Yeah, I think if I bought a typewriter, it would just sit there. I don't think I would ever type anything.
Dude, I was amped to type. Did you see how quickly I typed that?
Yeah, you're pretty good, man. Pretty fast.
And then I realized, why is it that I haven't typed anything in like 25 years? And the very first sentence I typed was, I want to rock right now. Rob Bass. First thing that came to my mind, it was like, you can type anything you want, anything in the world. The world was my oyster, and I went with Rob Bass lyrics.
Oh, that's your head, man. That's what's going on in your head.
Yeah. I posted a photo on my Instagram because I'm hip. Stir.
You are pretty hipster.
Am I, though?
No, not really.
Okay.
All right. Well, Sunday, it's April 1st, and it's Easter. So shouldn't say we. I found 6 April Fool's Day Easter pranks, and I haven't read through them yet.
Great.
But we can tear these apart and make fun of them.
Okay, good. Because I'm like, oh no.
I don't know what to expect here, but let's see what they have to say. April Fool's Day is also Easter this year. The last time it happened was in 1956, and it won't happen again until 2029.
Wow.
Jeez.
It was a long time before it happened, and now it's like happening kind of quickly, actually.
Yeah.
2029 isn't terribly far away.
Yeah, so make the most of your Easter-themed pranks this Sunday, guys.
I like it.
Here are 6 of the best ideas we've seen. I'm just reading that. We don't know yet. Number 1, fill a hollow chocolate bunny up with mustard.
Oh my gosh.
The percentage of people who like that combo is roughly 0%. Even if they see some yellow leaking out, they'll probably just think it's cream or custard or something. I actually like that.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
Britt says they're handing out mayo-filled donuts to the kids at youth. That's disgusting.
I would actually probably like it.
I'm going to warn my child.
Number 2, dye a few raw eggs that haven't been boiled. The big payoff for that one is when they toss it in their basket or try to eat it. Okay.
These are awful. I'm not condoning any of these.
Number 3, fill your kids' plastic eggs with disappointing stuff like crumpled up candy wrappers or vegetables. Or if you want to take it a step further, glue the eggs shut. That's actually pretty good. I can't get this stupid thing open. Number 4. Take a few of your kids' old toys and put them in their basket. Hopefully they freak out, claim Easter is a sham, and hate the Easter Bunny forever.
That's probably good. These are all
and that's
good reasons.
That's when you come in with Jesus.
You're like, this is what it's about. The Easter Bunny may fail you, but Jesus never will.
Easter Bunny is Satan, see? He comes to lie and deceive and steal. He stole your toys. Number 5, make a sponge cake out of actual sponges. You just have to frost it so it looks like the real deal.
Oh, man.
No, these aren't bad. Do an Easter egg hunt, but don't hide any eggs.
Said that one!
That one might ruin it for the kids' Easter. So maybe just hide them in one room and tell them to look in another room. Then after a few minutes, you can tell them it's a prank.
Dude.
Okay.
I love that.
These weren't bad. Not bad. I was thinking it was going to be super cheesy, and those actually, I think the best one is the chocolate. If you could figure out a way to fill up a chocolate bunny with mustard.
Yeah.
How do you fill up a chocolate bunny with mustard?
If it's hollowed out, you just core a little hole.
Just this little hole?
Squeeze the mustard in there.
Okay.
It'd be easy.
All right.
Little drill bit. Somebody said, do you guys think it would be cruel to boil some duck eggs, color them, and hide them?
Yeah. Duck eggs?
Why would that be cruel?
Why? Yeah.
Are they different? Are they gross? Do they smell funny?
I thought you said cool. They said cruel?
Cruel.
I don't think that's cruel at all. What's the difference between a chicken egg and a duck egg?
I don't know.
See, again,
The bird
animal
inside?
racism. It exists,
Okay.
guys. I don't get it.
Somebody said fill plastic eggs with flour. Oh my gosh, dude.
That's actually the best one. Yes. That's awesome.
If you want a surefire way to ruin Easter for children, do these things and then point them to Jesus. Because nothing says, hey, we love you in the name of our Lord, like trickery and lies.
Yes.
No!
What if it was glitter?
I mean, that's funny.
Glitter-ish.
Except you all got to remember, parents, you're going to be cleaning all of this up.
Yeah,
so
you got to do it in
what
the
do you
backyard.
really want to do?
Put ants in the eggs.
Somebody said grapes wrapped with Cadbury cream wrappers.
Okay.
You'd have to buy a lot of Cadbury cream eggs for that one.
Yeah.
Get the minis. You can get the minis and wrap grapes.
Yeah. Any good pranks out there for Easter? It's April Fool's on Sunday. 505-585-ALIVE.
Gosh. Ugh. I still am mad at the idea for mayo donuts. Brett, you guys are ruining so many great donuts.
It's a great idea.
Thebe says serve tofu at the Easter dinner. I don't know why that's different. He lives in California. That's like 80% of homes where he
Right?
lives.
Tofu.
Ugh. It's like SpongeBob. That's what you do is you serve it and then you tell the children sadly. No, you don't. Never mind. Not even finishing it. I'm not doing any April Fool's pranks for Easter.
Do you guys still do Easter stuff?
I mean, our tradition is Easter sunrise service.
Yeah, but I mean, do you ever buy gifts or because some families they'll buy
like the
Easter
baskets
gifts,
and all that
yeah,
stuff?
baskets.
No.
The Easter egg hunt, that's usually a tradition with most families.
We had a neighbor who used to invite us over for his Easter egg hunt, and there was like the golden egg that I think had a $50 bill in it.
Yeah.
And I was always like, all the neighborhood kids would get involved, and
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun. So we'll take part and stuff, but we don't go out of our way to like.
I don't get the whole big park Easter egg hunts. Have you been to one of those
Where it's literally just
hundreds of kids
littered,
and then they put 100
billion
eggs
eggs
in one area, and
Right.
then they tell everybody
Like a mad
basically to
dash.
go. That to me
It's like
is
the
so
Hunger Games for Easter.
so dumb.
Why? It gathers like thousands of people in the same place that you can share the gospel.
Do they share the gospel?
I mean, some places do, if you're doing it right. I know a church here in Albuquerque actually that does one on the west side that's like that. Oh man, I believe it's Harvest. And it's like this giant Easter egg thing, but it's the same thing. Yeah, it's like you're not hiding anything.
Yeah, they're
There's
right
a
there.
Field.
You just
with,
have to run
like
to
a
'em.
gajillion Easter eggs, and the kids are just running, and they've got like areas roped off. Like
Yeah.
this is for the 3 to 5 year olds, but then they also will serve hot dogs and stuff, and just try and love the people in the community. So I will say I like that.
Yeah, but what
I
about
like
the
that
hunt?
aspect
What
of
about
it.
the hunt?
Yeah, it's not about the hunt.
It's
bro.
about the hunt. That's
Well,
what I'm
okay.
talking about.
So I guess what's the hunt then? Is the hunt the eggs, or is the hunt your soul? And they're trying to secure it in heaven.
See, and that's how you bring it back. When some kid isn't fast enough, isn't clever enough, isn't smart enough to find the eggs, that's his problem. That's going to make him work harder in life.
Okay.
See? We're just throwing eggs down on the grass and saying, go walk over and grab the egg. That's not teaching the kid anything. What about the hunt?
That's not what you're trying to teach them, though.
Oh, man. It's
Come
all about the hunt.
on.
It's all about the hunt. When I was a kid, it was all about the hunt.
Western Heights, where Britt and Seth do youth group, they have the trunk or treat in the neighborhood down in the South Valley. So they have games and stuff for Halloween, and it's always huge. And they don't make them like search or do anything crazy. It's just like here's some candy, play some games, have some fun.
What about
hey,
the
this
hunt?
Is the church. We just love you.
Yeah, exactly. Why can't you do a hunt? Why can't you be creative and hide the eggs?
Man, you are like
you
are all about the
why
hunt,
take away the
man.
hunt, man? I don't get it. No, Britt, I'm not going to shut up because what's the whole point of the Easter egg hunt? Is hunting for eggs, not just putting them all out on a grassy field.
Guys, to be fair, when he was a child, his father would give him a .22 and take him out into the mountains of Montana, and they would actually hunt the Easter bunny. He's still a little jaded because he had to shoot a bunny.
That's true.
On Easter.
That's true.
Because that was his dinner.
One of my favorite memories as a kid is the bank. One year, there was a giant snowdrift. And they took, I think it was $1,000 in change, and they dumped it in and mixed it in with this snowbank. And all of the kids in the town.
The snowbank?
Exactly. We ran over to the snowbank, and they'd say, go. And so we would just be going through the snowbank. Our hands were about ready to fall off because they were so cold. But I collected like $100 in change because it was like I had to work for the change, man. To this day, I think about it every once in a while. That feeling I had inside of me, the greed of having money as a child, and I wanted to have more money than Luke Dunning next to me, and so I was throwing snowballs in his face and grabbing his money. It's about the hunt. It's about the hunt. I'm salivating right now. Give me the money.
You are crazy.
Give me the money. Where's your wallet? Give me your wallet.
What do you mean? I don't have any money here. You can have everything in it. I have $1.
No kidding.
Do you want it?
Give me $1.
Yeah, you can have the $1.
I got $1. See, I hunted for this dollar.
I was so surprised.
I hunted for it.
You hunted. I'm gonna start calling you Helen.
My money.
Helen Hunt. Okay. Somebody said we did the mass Easter hunt once, and the amount of elbows thrown and people tripped. It was pretty awesome. Are you making it rain?
Making it rain.
Singularly?
Making it rain.
Cool, bro.
Am I wrong or am I wrong?
You're wrong. Somebody said, why is it the bunny gives you eggs? Shouldn't it have been a chicken because of the eggs? Like, this never made sense to me.
It's all about fertility, guys. And there was the fertility.
I'm going to stop you right there. Okay. Somebody said, I made eggs with confetti to crack them in the kids' heads. I wait a whole year for that.
Cracking them on their heads.
Yeah. Somebody said, I've played those Halloween games. There's a slight challenge to them, but not with the Easter egg hunt. At least set up cardboard cutouts and put eggs behind it or something. Come on. Somebody said, I'm 42 years old, and I've been hounding my mom, telling her I hope I have an Easter basket come Easter morning with Easter popcorn, rabbit, Easter, Russell Stover's chocolate, coconut.
Woo!
Man. Whew. Not going to happen. Come on, bro. When I was a kid, though, I will say my mom did rock Easter baskets, and we'd wake up and it was like, oh, this is great. Wait, who sent us this? The Easter bunny. He broke in last night.
What?
Wait. You're telling me there is a man-sized rabbit that got into my room last night and left me this basket?
Okay.
I'm just saying, man. So Jesus had to fight a Godzilla-sized rabbit?
Yep, that poops chocolate Easter eggs.
So that we can have eternal life with him?
Yep.
Man, I'm confused. See? And this is why you don't do those stupid things.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said my favorite thing ever is that Dex remembers every kid's first and last name from his childhood.
Travis Short was there. Luke Dunning.
Man. It's so true, though. I have plenty of those names that
Trent
you
Dowd,
just remember.
Ben Griffin. Man.
To be
Corey
fair, there
Kovis.
were only 19 youths in all of Montana
That's true.
when he was growing up.
That's true. I got $100 in change because there was like 6 of us.
Yeah, most of them died out in the hard winters.
We had such hard winters, man. It's like the Great Depression.
And now, more tips for your Easter April Fools. Fill the ice maker in your freezer with jelly beans. Ask your kid to bring you a cup of ice. Take a hollow chocolate bunny, Fill it with mustard. Practical Easter baskets. Instead of jelly beans, Peeps, and chocolate, give your child a basket of cleaning supplies like Windex, Clorox, and Pine Sol. And no Easter dinner is complete without dessert. Give them sponge cake, made with real sponges.
I like it.
Place the sponges in a baking dish, cover with frosting, and voila. This has been more tips for your Easter April Fools. Just wait until Mother and Father's Day.
Yeah. Just wait.
This is going to be a weird one, man. I'm so excited for sunrise service.
Come on, take those eggs and gobble 'em up. Jelly beans, yeah, get enough. You're the Easter Bunny. Ooh, you're what I love. Easter Bunny. I gobble it.
All right, we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
505-585-LIVE. You want to text in the show?
Dude, coming back, if you got nothing going on for your Good Friday, our boy Jason's going to tell us a little bit about something going down in our hood.
Oh, yeah. We'll be back. Hang out.
Skip Heitzig hits a hot spot, reminding us that at home and work, attitude is everything.
Harvard did a study that when people get hired, you know what 85% of the time they get hired for? Their attitude, not their smarts.
Attitude should not be something we think, but a real reaction to the goodness of God.
And for believers, it ought to be the attitude of gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude that sets the altitude for living.
Hotspot. Access Skip's entire teaching library of 3,000 messages at connectwithskip.com.
God's will, His plan, isn't that you just show up to work, but that you grow up. This job isn't just to satisfy you or supplement you, it's to shape you.
Here's a parting thought to take to your job.
Be the kind of worker whose eye is on the Lord and not on the clock. How about if you looked at that lousy job and said, Lord, I'm doing this as unto you.
Hotspot.
Star 88. No man is excluded from calling upon God. The gate of salvation is set open. Neither is there any other thing which keeps us back from entering in. Only our unbelief. John Calvin with a Star 88 solar flare.
Good look at myself. I can admit that I fell so far that I need your help. I'd be happy to try and tell you the truth. I'm scared of what that will do, but I need to be straight with you. I made a mess with you and me. Would you let me this if I confess? Forgiveness. I made a mess with you and me. Would you let me this if I confess? Don't give up on me just yet. I need your forgiveness. Don't give up on me just yet. I'm asking forgiveness. Don't give up on me just yet. I'm asking forgiveness. Take a look at how we can find a cure. Can we use honest words, even if the healing hurts? Look in my eyes, I need to apologize. Though I can't turn back time, your love will erase my crimes. I made a mess with you and me. Would you let me this if I confess? Forgiveness. I made a mess with you and me. Would you let me this if I confess? Don't give up on me just yet. I need your forgiveness. Don't give up on me just yet. I'm asking forgiveness. Don't give up on me just yet. I'm asking forgiveness. Don't give up on me just yet. explain. I was so messed up, and I'm only a human. I'm the first to admit it. I made a mistake. Don't give up on me just yet. I need your forgiveness. Don't give up on me just yet. I'm asking forgiveness. Don't give up on me just yet. I'm asking forgiveness. Oh, forgive me. Let me explain me. I was so messed up, and I'm only a human. I'm the first to admit it. I made a mistake. Don't give up on me just yet. I need your forgiveness.
Judah Smith seeks to define the purpose and meaning in life. He says life is to trust God in every moment.
Some of you are waiting to follow Jesus into certain places and spaces until your pain is healed. I'm here to go on record to say your pain might be the platform by which you can help somebody else in pain. Everybody's got pain. That doesn't mean to minimize your pain, but we all have some. Let's think about this for a second. We all have pain. We all have pain. So if we all wait till the pain subsides, we might be waiting for a long time. I think there's times and seasons for you to focus on your pain and grow and get healed and whole. But I think the truth about following Jesus is incredibly inconvenient. It's slightly unpopular. It's probably not what I want to hear or you want to hear, but your pain might be the thing, the catalyst that God wants to use to minister to somebody else.
Trust God in every moment. That's Judah Smith with a Star 88 PowerPoint.
Hey, what's going on in the news today?
Ty Cobb, dealing with the Russia investigation, says, quote, no pardons are under discussion or under consideration at the White House. That statement comes as the New York Times reports a lawyer for President Trump discussed the idea of pardons for former aides Michael Flynn and Paul Manafort, as special counsel Robert Mueller was building cases against them.
For now, the president must contend with accusations he is improperly collecting profits from his luxury hotel in Washington. The president has claimed his business arrangements pose no conflict.
The NAACP now leading one of the lawsuits against a planned change to the 2020 census, adding a citizenship question.
We believe that there are constitutional limits on how badly the government can conduct the count.
Brad Perry, general counsel for the civil rights group, echoing the argument in multiple state lawsuits that immigrants will end up not being counted because they're afraid to answer.
In Orlando, a jury's now deliberating in the trial of Noor Salman. She's the wife of the Orlando nightclub shooter Omar Mateen, accused of helping him plan the attack.
Live from the Dreamstar Remodeling Star 88 Studios. Dex and Steve-O, good morning, everyone. You guys can watch the show, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. Go and be a part. Leave a comment. Good morning, Cam. What's up? Paul, Jeff. You guys can watch the show. We upload them every single day. We got our boy Jason Mills. Pastor Jason Mills hanging out with us right now. What's up, man?
Good morning. What's up, guys?
You know, just talking Easter, April Fool's pranks, and typewriters, and Moana. What's up with you?
Make way. Dude, so that bracket, right?
Mm-hmm. We talked about Disney and Pixel.
Pixar.
Thank you. Bracket yesterday. March Madness bracket.
Dude. So I heard that, and then we printed out that bracket at home, and there was chaos in my home.
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, Montague and Capulet style, Hatfield McCoy, like just throwdowns with my kids. But I think my son, Jake, he came down to The Incredibles, and Sophie, she came down to Moana.
Mm-hmm. Those are pretty good. Those are pretty good picks.
I'll tell you right now, I don't even know if I came down to the one, but I will say the Moana side is wrong because that side there were 4 classic animated films.
Yeah.
Lion King, Aladdin, The Little Mermaid, and Beauty and the Beast. And it was like one of those 4 must win this side.
But they also left out Peter Pan.
They did leave
Alice
out Peter
in
Pan.
Wonderland.
Emperor's New Groove.
Right?
No, see,
Wreck-It Ralph.
If they had Emperor's New Groove in there, it would be a much different story.
I agree.
It's difficult. We watch movies.
The Robinsons.
We don't own that many movies, but The Incredibles and Emperor's New Groove are one of the 2 movies we actually own.
Yeah.
And Meet the Robinsons is good. I just have I have problems with their time travel theory.
Oh, did you watch it?
You have
Yes.
problems with their time travel theory?
Yeah, it's
Get out of my life, dude.
No,
it
listen.
is the best.
It's so good.
Story wise, like finding family and family is what you make of it and all that stuff. Great. I've just got some problems with the all too convenient time space
I got a
continuum
problem with you now.
conundrums.
It was a Disney movie. Gosh, it was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
What
I loved
they
it.
can put that pizza truck in every one of their films
Keep
if they can't
moving
figure out the time
forward.
stream.
Dude, the entire film is based off of a value, if you will, that Walt Disney held. And it was like his mantra, I guess. Like, and the entire film is based off of something that Walt Disney just valued and cared greatly for. So like literally every time it gets to the end, I just
Right, and something he actually said and lived by. And I love
Yeah.
that with Meet the Robinsons, though, it is interesting because it's almost like take Tomorrowland and what family would live in Tomorrowland? And that's the Robinsons,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
Yep.
It was my first 3D movie ever.
Yeah. I heard
and
you
it
say
just
that.
blew my mind.
Oh, shout out to DJ Bossman Dan who just subscribed to our YouTube page.
Oh, right on.
Bro.
Better late than never, I guess.
Bro.
Trying to get to 1,000 guys by the end of the week.
YouTube.com/star88FN.
Right on.
Yeah. Anyway.
So what's going on with you guys?
I mean, you know.
Yeah, not much.
No,
Just
not
chilling.
you.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered a Prowl Masterpiece Transformer yesterday. I'm just
Ooh,
yeah.
nice.
Went in there to get Wheeljack and somebody bought him. No, okay.
Pastor Jason Mills, what are you doing, man? What's happening?
So, as you guys know, it's the Easter season where we celebrate Jesus' triumphal victory over the Easter Bunny. And no, not quite. But so we had Easter this Sunday, and then on Friday, tomorrow, is Good Friday, of course.
Good Friday.
So at Calvary Church, we have the noon service here at the Osuna campus, blood drive and food and music and a message from Pastor Skip. And then that night at both our Santa Fe and our Nob Hill campuses at 7 o'clock, we're going to be showing a movie and doing communion, which we've done the past couple of years. And so
You guys
this
doing
year,
the Passion?
No, we're actually not doing the Passion of the Christ because this year what we wanted to do, we were actually showing a movie based on the book, The Case for Christ. And so it's a new movie, just came out last year.
Yeah, I heard it was good.
It's very good. And
Lee Strobel, right?
Yeah, Lee Strobel, and his kind of very genuine search for answers because his wife gets saved. He sees a radical change in her life and is just like, okay, well, is she part of a cult? What is this?
Right.
Well, I mean, it's a genuine question.
Yeah.
And so, like, he's like, well, if this is real, let me investigate it.
And he was a journalist, right?
Pulitzer
Chicago
Prize winning.
Yeah.
Is it Chicago Times or what? Who did he work for?
Chicago Sun, I think.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something.
investigative journalist. So he's got the chops to do it.
Right.
Interviews all of these experts and looks into all the evidence, and finally at the end realizes that no, this is the real deal, and comes to it very methodically.
The Tribune.
And Tribune. There we go. Thank you. And comes to faith in Christ.
It'd
And
take
so-
more faith to not believe.
Absolutely,
You
yeah.
know?
And what's great is he looks into the validity of the resurrection, which is, I mean, really what the whole thing hangs on. And so if he really did die, if he really did live, and he really did die, and he really did rise from the grave, that deserves some attention at least.
I think what's hard in this culture that we live in right now is there's so much bad information out there.
Oh, yeah.
So you really, really have to do your research. And you can go on a YouTube channel or you could just Google something, and there's a lot of bad information out there.
yeah.
I was listening to a podcast, and there was these guys just talking about how, you know, the manuscripts that they found, you know, thousands of years ago, aren't they the same as they are today?
Yeah.
Which, isn't that false? Because isn't it all pretty accurate?
Yeah,
the
they're
stuff
all-
they found, you know,
Exactly.
it's like 99.9% accurate.
Yeah, exactly. It's
They're
more-
saying that's completely false.
It's more pure than a bar of Dove soap.
Exactly.
But yeah, exactly. So like they look back at the original text they had when Jerome was doing the Vulgate and the original, 1611 King James Version and all this stuff. And then they find more stuff later in the last century with the Dead Sea Scrolls. And lo and behold, oh, they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
And the only real differences are like the equivalent of a comma or word order that doesn't really change anything. If you look at languages like Latin, Greek, Hebrew, the order of words doesn't really change the meaning of things. And so it's just super accurate. And you're right, that is where you have to start, is that we have this story from the scriptures, from these accounts of the men who were there. Is the account that we have trustworthy? And if you can answer that question, if you go back further, okay, then are the people who are writing it trustworthy? Okay, and if it is trustworthy, then let's assess the claims. And
dude, I love it when you can take something, especially, I mean, clearly this is the foundations of our faith. I mean, if the cross didn't happen, then all for naught, it doesn't matter. It's like you could be, quote, good all you want. I mean, like none of this matters. There was another author named, I think J. Warner Wallace was his name. He was a homicide detective in L.A., and he wrote a book called Cold Case Christianity. So if you're interested in this type of logic and thinking and viewing our faith, Case for Christ, I mean, you got to check out the film this week or this Friday, tomorrow. Based on the book Case for Christ. This other dude, he took it from the angle of a cold case detective.
Yeah.
And so it's called Cold Case Christianity, and he was an atheist as well.
Yeah.
Staunch atheist. And it was like, okay, so he took the murder, if you will, from that standpoint.
Right.
Eyewitness accounts, everything as he would a homicide detective. And it was fascinating to hear the way that he went about it, because he was very meticulous in his research and his and everything. Not just like, oh, well, I'll take the Bible's word for it.
No.
It went through everything, and we're talking different writings of the time periods and what anything he can uncover to find to try and basically disprove as well. And man, it's incredible.
Yeah, there's several stories through history of people who have set out to either disprove the story of themselves, or have been atheists and antagonistic to the story who have investigated. And it almost seems like every single person who has a genuine interest and gives it a fair shake comes to the same conclusion that it's true and it's life-changing. And so many people don't give it a fair shake, or say that they have, but it's already a foregone conclusion in their mind, or they would, but they kind of already have made the logical assent that if it is true, it's going to demand something of me. It's like a guy who doesn't want to agree that he's overweight, because then he knows exercise and dieting are in his future, and he'd just rather not do that. It's like, no, I'm just rotund. I'm just healthy.
It's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly. And so they go, well, no, because if this is real, and whether they know this consciously or subconsciously, if it's real, then it's going to demand something of me. That the way I live my life can't be the same, and that perhaps I am not in charge of my own life.
Right. That's why you can't just listen to somebody, whether it's a podcast or a YouTube video.
Or a morning show.
Yeah.
I mean, even us,
show.
even things we say, you should always look into it for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm always surprised at the amount of, like you said, disinformation out there regarding Scripture in general, and also Jesus Christ as well, and Constantine and whatever. And by the way, pro tip, Constantine has nothing to do with it. By the way, just go ahead and go in with that assumption.
I mean, I don't know, dude. He does fight for good, but he's kind of a bad dude. He smokes a lot, so he's got cancer. But
he has that self-sacrificing.
Said Constantine, I just immediately got off track. What are we talking about?
Steve was talking about a Dark Horse, I believe, comic book of the same name, about a terrible person.
Yeah, but he's doing work for heaven.
That's
you know?
Is he?
While probably ending up in hell.
Yeah, but Constantine, the comic book, is more about the question: if you do the wrong things for the right reason, is it the right thing? Which is the whole premise of that comic book.
That's
and I have
actually
strong thoughts about that.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is I listen to a lot of secular media and podcasts and things, and it's always interesting whenever something of Scripture comes up. I just am so shocked, and I shouldn't be shocked, but how little information or how much disinformation there is about about the Scriptures and about Christianity. And even Judaism, so where people they just don't know, and the information is out there. It's not hard to find. They just have to do the due diligence to go investigate it.
Are you Jewish?
No, I just have an amazing beard. I think my Hebrew tattoos kind of preclude me. I've had a couple of Jewish people who are not too keen on my choices there, including one very intimidating Russian Jew when I lived in Montreal, who grabbed my wrist and said, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, well, I'm trying to explain it like I would at a coffee shop, and he's just not having it at all.
Wow.
And fortunately, the door's open and he leaves, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't even know you had tattoos.
Yeah. I got one here on my right arm that says Chetab, which means sinner. and one on my left arm that says Pada, which means redeemed. So I'm a sinner redeemed by Jesus.
What happens if you lose an arm in like a tragic accident?
Then
I really hope it's the redeemed arm because that'd be hilarious. Because it'd be like, wow, that guy is rough.
That's right.
You're one-armed and you got a tattoo that says sinner.
You know how I lost that arm? When your teacher tells you to keep your hands in the bus, dagnabbit, you do it.
Wow. Okay.
Amazing. Oh, so this Friday.
This Friday.
Good Friday.
Good Friday. Good Friday at 7 p.m. at both our Santa Fe and our Nob Hill campus. Clark Road for the Santa Fe, and of course on Central in the historic Lobo Theater for Nob Hill.
Central and Richmond, catty corner to my Mecca. I'm just kidding.
Astros out. I was going to say something else, but I realized I shouldn't. But yeah,
what,
exactly.
Masks e Moss? What else is it?
Imbibe. It's right there in the opposite corner.
That's funny.
I'm like,
See,
no.
I didn't know that, Pastor. Tell me more. What's that?
Well, you know, I see people, sinners coming in and out of there all the time. No, that's not it at all. I realize you get enough trouble. I don't need to add trouble to your life.
True story.
But yeah, so we're excited to do it. We'll have communion with it as well. And one of the advantages of doing this movie based on the Case for Christ is that we actually can do concessions. People have asked us before when we were showing The Passion of the Christ, are you doing concessions? And I'm like, do you really want to eat popcorn while you watch the bloody murder of Jesus?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I was just like, no, we're not selling concessions. What? But today, tomorrow we are. We'll have popcorn candy, the usual fare.
Gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
You
So
should
we'll
have
all
done
that.
only red candies because it was
Oh
like the
my
blood of
gosh.
Christ. So it'd be like red vines, hot tamales, red
And
hots.
Hawaiian punch.
And Hawaiian,
Hawaiian punch.
Serving it
Wow.
all. Be like,
Yeah.
man.
And communion will
Every
just be
drop
Hawaiian
of
punch.
these hot tamales were shed for the remission of
gosh.
your sins. I'm gonna quit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
quit though.
Yeah.
I mean, like I need
No,
to
we'll-
leave.
we'll see you later.
I've retired. Oh.
Has it ever bothered you guys that Good Friday is when we celebrate or remember the death of Jesus, and Black Friday is when we talk about capitalism? I always thought those two should be reversed. No? Yeah?
I mean,
Yeah.
No, like Black Friday. Yeah, it's a Black Friday. And then on after Thanksgiving, yeah, it's Good Friday. We're going to make a lot of money.
No, that's a good call, actually. Yeah.
man.
But I mean, I get it.
Sorry, I'm talking to a nerd on the live line about collecting Transformers Masterpiece collections.
Ooh, nice.
Let's go talk to the nerds.
I know you guys want to, so go ahead.
I wouldn't even know where to begin because we haven't talked comics in so long that I'm like, I don't even know what to talk about.
What was your favorite Transformer growing up?
Oh gosh, I literally just texted this guy that I really would love a Soundwave because they have one over at Astros, and I just stare at him.
What was the one that turned into the jet?
Starscream?
Yeah, I loved him just because he turned into a jet.
You are my least favorite human.
How about the gun?
No,
what was the gun?
Megatron?
Yeah.
Or Shockwave. Like, who are we talking about here?
I
What
love
kind of
those
gun?
toys because it turned into a gun and a jet.
Yeah.
So our boy Brian, who works over at Parchments, his cousins own a comic book shop here in town called Age of Comics, which is right down
Yeah.
the way. They actually just got a
Depressingly close.
I went to go
dangerous.
say hi to those guys recently because I still Astro Zombies is my
Oh
place.
yeah, absolutely. But those guys have a
They're really
giant
nice.
life-size Sentinel head.
Yeah, and they
that glows eyes.
They got an original Transformers collection in, and there's a Megatron still in the box, like the gun.
Wow.
And
That's
stupid amounts
phenomenal.
of money. I have to like.
I had that.
So I had the what was the collection of the Autobots that were the dinosaurs?
Dinobots.
Dinobots, yeah. Okay,
Oh
thank you.
my
No, I'm
gosh.
going like Destructicons, Constructicons.
I have a few of the originals.
Yeah,
Grimlock is my son's
Grimlock's the
absolute
best.
favorite.
yeah, he's the
Transformer.
T-Rex, man,
Mm-hmm.
and his head's
So-
inside his little like
Yeah.
puny arms. It's really great.
Yeah, I have Slag, and I'm trying to think who all I have. I have a couple.
I
of
just
the
remember-
originals.
Yeah,
Mine broke easy.
Really?
Back in the day. Because I transforming those things, I remember when my kids got into Transformers, they always had me transforming them for them because
Yeah.
they couldn't, they were scared to break it
Well,
because
the
they
newer-
got really plasticky.
the newer ones were super complicated.
Yeah, they
Like,
are,
there's
right?
97 points of articulation. And
Yeah.
the old ones were like 7. So like, and I had like the real, I had GoBots as well. They were like,
I had GoBots.
Leader 1, the airplane. It was it was lame. Like,
This guy's got the original Soundwave G1 from when he was a kid.
that's awesome.
Soundwave was the boombox with the cassettes.
Yeah.
However,
I
as
had
an
some of the
adult,
cassettes.
I want Blaster because he's the Autobot version and he's a DJ. Like he's a radio guy. And I'm like,
Nice.
oh, see, that's
Oh,
me.
dude.
I'm basically Blaster from the Autobots. That's kind of
Are
cool.
you going to change your name to DJ Blaster?
No, I'm not. I'm not. When I was a kid, I was lame. My favorite was Optimus Prime, and he's still my favorite.
Yeah, totally.
It's Optimus. I mean, it depends on who you talk to. Because Teo, who was on the show, back in the day, we didn't like to talk about him too much. His favorite's Hot Rod. Rodimus was his favorite,
Prime,
and I'm
yeah.
like, I hated that guy because he was the. Who is that guy?
Simba's going to come back and depose you.
Yeah,
man.
he is.
I had
It's
the
all
one.
about Prime.
What was the one where it was basically a reskin of Optimus Prime, but it was like the had the car carrier in the back?
Had the Mixmaster?
No.
I mean, not
remember that
Mixmaster.
one. No.
Motormaster was the purple one that was like also a semi truck.
Yeah,
Gosh,
but then the car carrier would turn into like an exoskeleton to make him even bigger when he was in the robot form. It had a special helmet on the top.
I don't even know who you're
Yeah,
talking
no,
about
dude.
right
I'll look
now.
it up and show you
I
later.
thought you meant like the replica ripoff.
No,
Motormaster was like the
no.
purple.
Yeah, it was like a real car carrier. You put a couple Autobots in there.
Looper
And-
just chimed in and said he has all the Constructicons still.
Oh,
Also the
Constructicons are so cool.
Triceratops Dinobot. I don't have.
How you got to brag, bro?
Somebody said, "What about those bionic things?" Those
Bionicles?
were
The
so
nerd
annoying.
smell is overwhelming.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah, it smells like awesome.
I remember the Stormy chimed in because you hit the nerd talk thing, and I said, "What are we going to talk about?" And someone said, "Legion Season 2, which is dropping in April."
I'm so excited about that.
If you don't know, our girl Amber Midthunder, she plays
Yes.
Carrie Loudermilk. You actually got to do an event with her.
Yeah, we did. We did a thing at UNM talking about faith and reason called Expose.
Yes.
And she came in and talked about it and had never given like a Devo or like a talk and everything. And it wasn't the most focused thing in the world, but it was so genuine
I
and
love
well
her.
done. She did a great job. She and her whole family are just phenomenal people.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to the Midthunders.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Angelique
For,
today, actually.
for
so.
some of the best last name ever. Just
Yeah.
what's your name?
Right?
Midthunder.
Midthunder, bro.
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
What now? Come at me.
Way
I
better
love
than
them.
Les Nessman.
So, yeah, dude, season 2 coming in April, and
Yeah.
I'm really hoping also coming in April, Amber Midthunder to the Morning Invasion. So,
Oh, nice.
Trying to get her in the studio.
Trying to get all those secrets.
Man, I was really bummed. She was here for a couple days filming something, and it was when I was in Phoenix, and it just didn't work out. I was very sad.
Yeah. No, Legion is really cool because it's not horror. It's a little disturbing. Like I don't.
Oh my gosh,
I have
it's a mind.
Yeah, it's a
trip.
mind trip, absolutely, but it's not super scary. Although there are certain elements, and I don't do scary media. It's just my brain's scary enough by itself. I don't need any help. But for me, Legion was just the perfect mix where I could handle it, and I was good. And it's
It made
just
me
such
feel
a mind
uncomfortable
trip.
a few times.
Well, yeah, and I think that's good because it's a screen that made you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's important. I
The
think.
editing
Yeah.
and that is just so
because
great.
the basic idea is you got a guy who is schizophrenic,
Or is
but
he?
also has mutant powers where he can read minds. So
He's like an alpha level.
yeah, he's an omega level.
I mean, omega level.
yeah, mutant.
Sorry.
And so the question becomes, how do you determine what's the power and what's the mental illness in a situation like that? And it's the whole thing of him figuring that out, and then you discover something else is actually
it's almost
going
like tripping on mushrooms
on
for
top.
an hour.
Okay.
Did I say that out loud?
Do you want to
So
elaborate
Transformers.
on that? Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Dude, Dan
Starscream.
Stevens is the lead, and
Well,
he is a brilliant actor.
That explains the Starscream comment.
What? Oh, because
Yeah.
Starscream was the worst. I hated Starscream. Sorry, we're going
Yeah,
back to
but no,
Transformers.
I just
so-
like the toy.
Yeah, Legion season 1 had a very satisfying ending,
It did.
which includes Jerome from
Yeah.
Flight
Yeah.
of the Conchords, man. And then it kind of like head dives into a cliffhanger, and you're like, what?
It's Jermaine Clement, by the way.
Jermaine. Oh, what did I
Jermaine?
say?
You said Jerome, but
Jerome.
that's okay.
Yeah, why did I'm thinking about the Vulgate still.
Jermaine
Jermaine
Clement
Clement.
over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Jermaine.
Jermaine.
By the way, everybody, you were talking
Shiny.
about Ultra Magnus.
Ultra Magnus. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Starby, you're
Voiced
the
by
best.
Robert Stack in the original Transformers the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Transformers the movie.
I never had Ultra Magnus.
Weird
I always
Al
thought he was
Yankovic.
so boring. Yeah.
Yeah, Ultra Magnus.
Dare
was
to be
cool, man.
stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. phone lines are-
Good morning, nerd.
Good morning. This is Mike. I too am a Transformers nerd.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And
Dope.
I know exactly which Transformer he was talking about. I know I'm going back in time because you guys were talking about
No, it's
Legion
fine.
and
I'm
all
willing
that.
to bet
but
you're about to say Ultra Magnus.
Ultra
I
Magnus.
am. I
Yeah.
texted it in, and then he mentioned it. It was the car carrier.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
one that it was.
Yeah.
He was Optimus Prime's brother.
Oh.
And he came from the other
canon.
planet, and they did a bunch of stuff, and they didn't like each other very much. It was kind of like a Goku Vegeta thing.
Yeah.
but,
Unless-
they had to
rivalry.
combine. They
Yeah.
had to combine to defeat Megatron and save the world and all of that fun stuff.
Unless you read the IDW comic book, in which case that is not actually canon. Ultra
I'm
Magnus.
going off of the
cartoon.
I'm going off of
I know.
the cartoon
I'm
that
just
I
kidding.
watched when I was a kid.
I think 1980s old canon always trumps current.
Does it though? I
Yeah.
love IDW. Can I just spoiler alert? Megatron is an Autobot.
What?
Oh.
Okay, clearly not canon. That's no.
No, it's canon.
Dude.
It's my favorite arc ever.
I don't know. Yeah, Ultra Magnus was cool because he had the carrier turned into an exoskeleton that made him a bigger transformer. And,
Mhm.
and when you're a kid, bigger is always better.
Yeah, that's just
and he
true.
had like an extra
Right.
helmet that went over his head to kind of make it proportional. It was just rad.
Yep. Man. I actually had the Ultra Magnus back in the day.
Yeah, me too, man.
You guys are rich.
You are a liar.
I never had. Yeah, I never had any of those.
Hey,
No, that was the only big one I got. I couldn't actually get the Optimus to make it bigger.
Never mind.
I only had the Ultra Magnus.
I had Optimus. We should have been friends.
Dude,
We
a
could've
friend of mine
combined.
had the space station.
We should have been friends back in the day.
Later, nerd. We got to go.
All right, roll out. See ya.
Give the details, Jason Mills. One more time. What's happening?
7 p.m. tomorrow, Lobo Theater and Calvary Santa Fe. The movie based on the Case for Christ and communion concessions will be served. Show up early. Have a great time. Celebrate Good Friday.
It's a good Friday.
Okay, stop talking. Oh man!
Thank you, Pastor Jason Mills.
Coming back, we got some Shock Therapy Live with Pastor Nate. I found an article we got to talk about, man. There's a proposed law giving workers the right to disconnect after work. Meaning, you ain't got to answer texts or your messages, nothings. The right to disconnect. Very interesting.
Jason, before you go, you've heard of X-Men, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard of X-Men Worst Class?
From the producers of X-Men First Class.
Gina, what's your superpower?
I can program a VCR in minutes.
We got another one.
Comes the worst class of X-Men.
Mitch, quit hitting yourself and tell me your superpower.
That is my superpower.
X-Men Worst Class.
I can blow bubbles. Your nose is a kazoo. Hello, that's my superpower.
X-Men Worst Class. Rated R. For really?
For really?
I love it.
All right, goodbye, nerds.
We all want the best future for our children. Our next generation of leaders needs a strong foundation. With small classes, a great sports program, and affordable tuition, Evangel Christian Academy strives to equip students for the work God has for them. ECA's mission is to educate students spiritually, academically, and physically. Our philosophy is to prepare students for the work God has for them. We endeavor to challenge each student spiritually through daily Bible classes and discipleship. Since 1976, Evangel Christian Academy has been serving children from preschool through 12th grade and is accredited with the Association of Christian Teachers in Schools, North Central, and the state of New Mexico. Located at 4501 Montgomery Boulevard, Northeast in Albuquerque. Call 505-883-4647 to learn more, or go online to eCanNM.info. That's eCanNM.info.
2,000 years ago, Jesus suffered and died on a Roman cross. His body was buried in a tomb and guarded by armed soldiers. The circumstances seemed hopeless, but God. All of us experience times of desperation, but as James Montgomery Boyce said, if you understand these two words, but God, they will save your soul. If you recall them daily and live by them, they will transform your life completely. Join me Easter Sunday at 7:30 a.m. as we celebrate history's greatest but God moment, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. We'll enjoy music from Battle Drums Worship with special guest Sarah Reeves. And I'll present a hope-filled message about how you can experience life change. I'll see you there.
This is KLYT Albuquerque, Santa Fe, rebroadcast on KKCJ, Cannon Air Force Base, KPKJ, Mintmore, K201CC, Las Cruces, K2 K203EZ, Alamogordo, K207CQ, Gallup, K211CW, Hobbs, K212EH, Silver City, K214DE, Antonito, K218AK, Artesia, K250AB, Roswell, K293AO, Alamosa, K228DQ, Portales, in the free app for iOS and Android, and online at star88.fm.
We are the people that matter. We built it all, we built a wall upon our shoulders. We are the people of the borders. So we both show up our hands and eyes. Though so close, how can we live children of comfort. We are the men who hold the confines of the thunder. We took the shining force to reach to submission. We lived and breathed the ever human condition. So we both show up our hands and eyes. Low, so close. How can we live trouble, you need to call us now. We have a show. It's called Shock Therapy Live. Nate Heidsick, Nate Heidsick, Nate Heidsick, Nate Heidsick. He is here for you, so why don't you call us now? Shock Therapy Live.
Oh man, that's a new one. That's new.
They just keep getting better and better.
Stupid. Oh, man.
Welcome to Shock Therapy Live, Pastor Nate Heitzig.
What's funny to me is the one thing I asked for when we restarted the show was a real intro. and
That is a real intro.
Never
We're
got one.
professionals.
I've still never got one.
Those are real. We give you a new one every week.
This is the thing about it. We can't. We because of that, we can't really podcast Shock Therapy Live and let it be a serious show. And so I realized the reason Shock Therapy Live descends into madness, the first 15 minutes of every show, is because of the intro.
The intro.
That's not
When you
true.
have
That's
it's so
not
true.
at all.
It's so true. When
No.
you have a tough intro, it's like it's like, hey, this is Shock Therapy. You come out of that and you're like pumped to like be serious.
You say we're not a serious morning show?
100%. Exactly what I'm saying.
We are a top shelf morning show.
Top shelf. Oh, man.
Only the best, okay?
Bro.
Only the best, bro.
This is not Rush
Hey,
Limbaugh.
we're top 5, Albuquerque the Magazine.
Come on.
Okay?
Bro.
Gosh.
All right?
Dude.
Who else is top 5?
You know what?
Not too many shows out
In
there.
Albuquerque, that's how many morning shows are there?
There's
in
5.
Albuquerque? Most of them now
There's
are like
5 live
syndicated
ones.
out to
Exactly.
like
There's 5 live
if
ones.
the Edge beats you guys now, there's a real problem because that's not Albuquerque.
Gosh, and that show is terrible. The Woody Show?
Hey, man.
What?
Don't be dissing on the Woody Show, okay?
Why not?
Because
it's bad.
Yeah, but they're syndicated all around the world.
Yeah, that's because Clear Channel's lazy and bleeding money.
Oh, he called you out.
I'm just being real.
Clear Channel, we're calling you out to a dance battle.
Yes, dude. Step up 3D. Let's do this.
Anyways.
The only thing more annoying than people dancing on the screen is people dancing in your face in 3D.
Dude, yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, phone lines are open at 505-338-3700. You call, and you know what? If you have a question for Shock Therapy Live, we got tickets to Tyson Motzenbacher, and we also have red tickets. So if you are a part of Shock Therapy Live today, we're going to hook you
Yeah,
up.
we're just giving these things
We're
out
gonna
willy-nilly
hook
now.
you
It's like, hey,
up.
if you've got a question, you get a ticket.
Well, it has to be a Shock Therapy Live question. It's got to be a part of, you just can't call and get the ticket.
We're going to have people making up questions.
People texting in.
if they're good enough.
So I got
Yeah.
this friend.
Right? 505-585-LIVE. That's
really
the
want
number
some
to text
tickets.
We got a lot of these tickets to blow
in.
out.
505-585-5483.
Man.
You're just going to have to stay on hold
It's
for
almost like they gave
literally
you
an
so
hour.
many because they thought they weren't going to sell.
I didn't say it. It was Nate Heitzig.
All right. Are we going to do this?
Yeah.
You guys want to get into
Let's
this? Y'all want to get into this?
Dude, it's Good Friday tomorrow.
It is Good Friday tomorrow. We just had Jason on talking about the movie they're showing based on the book, The Case for Christ, over at the Lobo Theater and at Santa Fe.
I heard his
We got-
proposal about switching the names Black Friday and Good Friday.
Yeah.
I think we should call it Fantastic Friday.
Okay.
I love that.
But here's the
'Cause it's
thing.
better than good.
Depending upon, and I don't want to spoil anything for tomorrow, but depending upon where you throw down, Good Friday service is not typically fantastic or good or fun. It's usually like really sad.
Jesus died.
Yeah, I know,
Spoiler
but that was a
alert.
couple thousand years ago. But what I'm saying is like, I don't want to spoil anything because I don't know like what's going down tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But like one year Nate did a rap battle and then
rap battle?
he painted a cross and it was like,
Really?
what, dog?
No, I did a spoken
He
word
did,
piece one
he
time.
did do spoken word one year. That was actually probably my
No,
favorite.
we've got a cool little surprise for this year. It's going to be kind of
Nice.
fun.
I mean,
looking
I don't.
forward to it.
I don't. Well, see, I don't want to. No, it's outside. The wall. Wall's
Yeah.
got to have something to do with it.
Something's going to happen to
Yeah.
the wall.
Okay, cool.
What's going to happen?
Break the wall
No.
down,
We're gonna
and then Chris
pull-
Jericho's gonna come out and he's gonna be like, yeah.
We're going to pull a 1980s Apple and have a lady in like workout clothes run and throw a sledgehammer at the wall.
And then I pop out and go.
No.
Take those eggs and gobble them up.
It's going to happen. Good Friday, man. I'm going to pop out
Oh,
and just start
man.
busting out.
Gosh, can we get to questions?
Dressed in my egg suit.
This person's been chiming in.
I heard of
for,
one church.
like, a while.
I heard of one church that actually a lot of churches do this. They do a service and
Like a
it's
memorial.
yeah, they do. And at the end of the service, when the service ends, no one says anything.
Right.
No one says any
That's
words.
what I'm
and everyone
saying. It
leaves.
depends on where you go.
That's depressing.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to go to that church.
I don't either.
Well,
That's why I was like, I don't want to say anything, but like,
Now I will say this: our Good Friday service is one of my favorite services of the year because it's outdoors.
Yes.
It's in the afternoon, so it's warm.
Yes.
It's like to me, it's like the birds are chirping, the flowers are blooming. It's so spring to me.
park anywhere.
It's no, like I like it. I like it more than even I think like Easter sunrise because
Yeah.
it's just
I-
to me
I
it's like
Uber.
it's super fun.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
More than sunrise though. I like. I just this weekend is legit. Because then on Saturday, like we go, we set up, we get everything ready. This is one of my favorite weekends of the year. Because like Friday, you got Good Friday service, and then Saturday, we're all down at the stadium, like getting everything set up and ready and running around.
So
the
Good
field.
Friday,
Not the
Good
field.
Friday is such a fun, warm service to me. Someday I want to convince you guys would be the perfect guys to do it with. I want to convince some guys to go to Good Friday service in like short white shorts and like a pink Lacoste polo tucked in.
Totally will.
I think it'd be fun.
Why not just
I
rompers,
can't do that
man?
within less than 24 hours, though. I'm like, where would we find that?
I know.
Why not rompers?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Like
You'll
a white,
wear- come on.
a white.
I have too much
romper?
self-respect.
Like a
Did
white.
you see me in my romper? I look good.
But not a romper. What if
that's a subjective.
What if it's not a romper? What if it's like short overalls?
Oh man.
And then you've got the pink polo.
No, I'm thinking, did you
over
guys ever
it.
see that Shark Tank where that guy was selling those shorts called Bird Dogs? There's these shorts. It's hilarious, bro. You got to
Bird
check out their
Dogs?
Instagram. It's hilarious. But I want some Bird Dog shorts. Like I think that'd be the perfect look for Good Friday.
Okay.
Bird Dogs.
I'm looking them up right now. Oh my god.
Yeah. Bird Dogs.
We're not wearing bird dogs to Good Friday service. Oh man,
Come on.
are you going super fancy on Sunday? Because
I don't know.
Dex doesn't want me to overdress.
All my stuff's in storage.
This is the reason people the pastors always have this conundrum like, do we all wear suits?
Right.
And it was so
And then
it's so
inevitably
funny.
we all wear jackets because it's freezing.
Yeah,
cold.
exactly.
Right.
I dress up every year and I wear a stupid jacket and a beanie because it's freezing.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. The reason that's a tradition for Calvary is because the time when that tradition came was like in the 90s when what my dad wore on stage on a normal Sunday was a sports coat and a tie.
Yeah.
And so the only way to dress it up for Easter from there was like a suit or a tuxedo.
Tux. Yeah.
And so, now it's not that case. So my dad's like, I'm probably going to wear jeans and like a shirt with like a sports coat over it. But
Skip. Yes. Okay.
yeah,
Yes, we're doing this.
Yeah.
the thing
I
is,
don't know.
I never wear a suit. So when I do, I act differently.
Well, it's
like
does that to
I
you.
never wear a suit. So I put a suit. I'm like,
Yeah. It's like when you have a mustache, you act different.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, see, remember when he had a mustache and it curled and you talk like this?
Or when you collect comic books, you act like a kid
yeah,
all the time.
I do act like a child. Yesterday, I pre-ordered a Transformer yesterday, guys, at Astros. Just saying, I'm
He's
a child.
40, guys.
It's good.
I am a child. Ah, a child of God.
Bring it back.
Oh,
Bring
man.
it back. Bring it back.
I have a question for Shock Therapy Live. Phone lines are open. What's that number there, Dexter?
505-338-3700. And we got Red and Tyson Monson-Blocker tickets.
You know what the funny thing is? I'm stoked for Tyson Motzenbacher. That dude opened for John Foreman, and I was blown away. He is amazing. So, anyways.
We play him on Star 88, don't we?
Yeah, we do. He's a good dude. All right. Question for Shock Therapy Live. And you can get one in on the live line, 505-585-LIVE. It's the number to text in, 505-585-5483. The question is it wrong to allow my kids to believe in the Easter Bunny?
Yeah, I think this is one of those questions we get anytime we get close to a holiday.
Yeah.
Like we get close to Christmas and the questions about Santa. We get close to Easter, it's about the Easter Bunny. We get close to Thanksgiving, it's about pilgrims and Indians. Yeah.
We get close to
All mythical creatures.
Halloween and kids are losing teeth, so we talk about the Tooth Fairy.
Wait,
What happened? Did I miss
we
something?
should have a goal to just turn one of these shows into the most awkward show.
Dude, multiple people have already said best Shock Therapy Live ever.
Can I tell you guys what I do for my kids on Easter every year? And I remind them of this because they look at Easter completely different now.
Hey kids, do you know who's coming this Sunday? Yes, it's the Easter Bunny from the loopy-poopy world of Easterland. He's coming to hide eggs. You children must find all the eggs, for if you miss even one, it will grow into a troll. So children, find the eggs, look tirelessly, don't sleep, or the trolls may get you. A public service of the Magister of Easterland.
Well, we did it.
Kids will never want to be a part of the Easter Bunny, Easter hunt. It's just scare them, guys.
No, they won't want to.
You think they'll want to?
Yeah,
My
dude,
kids
you
don't
gotta
want
get
to.
them. Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all.
Pokemon. Oh,
Now,
man.
are these the kind of trolls like the got this feeling kind of trolls?
Yes.
Or are
No.
these scary trolls?
No, these are scared. These are like troll hunter trolls. They're like 30 feet tall.
Oh, man.
They will eat you.
Bro.
Yeah. So you gotta catch them all. So really though, because what was weird to me about the text that we got, is it okay to believe in the Easter Bunny? I'm
Like,
well,
believe in,
what's the
like,
belief?
I believe in Jesus. I'm going to give my heart to the Easter Bunny.
Right, like,
I'm going to
what's the
say a
belief?
prayer.
Like-
I'm going to go forward to Easter sunrise service and say a prayer to accept the Easter
Yeah,
Bunny into
like,
my life, and then get some eggs and.
Does any child really believe that there's like an 8-foot tall bunny running around like pooping out Easter
I did when I
eggs?
was a child.
No, but I'm really
Yeah,
though?
of course I
You're
did.
a weirdo.
Well, that's what I was taught, that there was the Easter bunny. And he
But
was
didn't like the
giant.
laws of
But where
physics
did
and life get in the way
like,
of that?
Where did he come from?
Well, you
And
guys
where
didn't
does
believe
he
in
go
that?
back?
No.
No.
Were you guys ever taught that?
No.
I was. What the heck?
That he's real?
Thanks, Mom.
No, it was like a fun thing, and it was like, oh, it's Easter. You got an Easter
Like
basket
Santa
from
Claus?
the Easter Bunny.
And here we have the scenario. So this is my thing. I don't think there's anything like evil. Like some people are like, Santa is, if you take those same letters, it spells Satan. And some people really go to the extreme and think like the Easter Bunny and Santa are evil conspiracies of the world to get our eyes off of Jesus.
Yeah. Right.
I don't think that's the case.
Right, that's
I
Facebook.
don't think there's anything like there's nothing wrong with like if you Christmas time you put some Santa things up in your house, or Easter time comes and you have some bunny decoration. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Now my issue with convincing your kids that the Easter Bunny is real or Santa's real is the problem is when you do that, and your kids find out that it's fake, your kids will then question if other stories that they were told as a kid are fake also. So if your kids are growing up in a Christian home and you're telling them about Jesus and you're telling them about Samson and Noah's Ark and some of these stories in the Bible, because they're miracles, are pretty fantastic stories.
Right.
And so you hear about Jonah and getting swallowed by a whale, and that as a kid you're like, how is that possible? And it's so crazy. And then you're also hearing about the Easter Bunny. Then when you find out someday the Easter Bunny is not real and Santa's not real, you then question the other things your parents told you. And so my problem with it is why are there certain things that we're literally telling our kids a lie and we're excusing it with, oh no, it's okay because it's fun.
Right.
Like, do we say that about any other lies? Like, no, just lie to your kids for their entire life.
Yeah.
And so the problem is for me is it makes your kids question other things you've told them. So the reason we don't do it is for that reason. It's I want to make sure that when I'm telling my kids about something that it's true, my kids grow to a place where they understand that when Dad's telling them something, it's true.
Yeah.
They don't have to question it, that I'm telling them truth. I don't want them to grow up to a place where they think like, man, what else is just mythological, fake things.
Yeah.
So that's the big reason for me.
Yeah, somebody said my 7-year-old says he knows there's no Easter Bunny because he's not in the Bible. But it's fun to pretend and fun to get a basket with treats. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are other things.
Now,
that
a basket with treats, I have a different thing with that.
Yeah.
So eggs, I think, are a really cool tradition because the whole concept of an egg is you're opening it up and there's something good inside there. And
Unless your kids hate eggs.
And so the principle behind it is a resurrection story that we have these eggs that are laid. It's like a tomb, and then when you open it up, there's something good inside there. It's to symbolize resurrection.
Jesus pieces. Like instead of Reese's
That's
pieces.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Nobody
What?
like
No.
little communion crackers in
No,
there.
well, you could
like
do
little
that.
communion
No,
cups.
I mean, like Reese's
I'm gonna stuff.
pieces.
I'm gonna
Reese's
stuff every one of my
pieces.
eggs this year with one of those little portable communion cups.
Oh gosh. No, you get Reese's pieces and then you paint a cross on each one and you call them Jesus pieces. And then you put them in
You just
the
got to be
eggs.
careful with what kind of paint you put on there
Yeah,
because it might be
that's
harmful
true.
to ingest.
Lead, obviously.
Lead-based paint.
So, no, I love that. And because we paint eggs every year.
Yeah.
We do stuff like that, but it's not like, oh, kids, now we're going to go hide them and pray to the Bunny Day Easter for it.
Totally.
Like, it's so weird to me. I guess I just never got wrapped up in that. Like growing up in the church, but we always got an Easter basket. It just wasn't something that was like
I got an Easter basket every year, and I got
super
like
weird and-
freaking awesome Easter baskets.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
one time I got an Easter basket with vintage Star Wars toys.
What?
And it was
your dad is
I
the
got
best.
I was so stoked because I wanted it for a while. I got the Jabba the Hutt set, the vintage one where
What?
he's like sitting on the trap door on like that little throne, and so I got the vintage Jabba the Hutt toy.
Wow.
I was pretty
pretty
stoked on
legit.
that.
So here's
I
the
got
question.
a Roncourt, a vintage Roncourt one year.
I still have
for
mine.
Easter. Do
I
you?
still have mine. Yep.
I sold
And
all
I got
my
the
Star Wars
Gamorrean
toys.
guard, and he's just like, love it.
When I became an adult, I got rid of things that were childish. I put away childish things.
Yeah.
We
Totally,
mature.
Totally mature. How's your Call of Duty going?
Hey, that's not childish.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Shooting people with shotguns is not a child's game.
That's true.
And
Unless you live in my
children,
neighborhood.
if you let your children play that, there's a problem. These are games. I'm convinced. Seriously, these games on PlayStation 4. These are games for adults. They're made for adults. They're not made for kids.
Absolutely. Oh,
Don't
absolutely.
If you're letting your kids play Call of Duty World War II, I've played that game, man.
Are you playing Fortnite?
Bro, I don't know what that is.
Oh, I feel
What?
like you would love it.
You would be. This is your new jam.
Yep.
This is the thing with any
Sorry,
shooter.
bro.
Is
You're
it a
gonna
shooter
love it.
game?
Mm-hmm.
The only shooter games I like are ones where you don't have stupid stuff like advanced jetpacks and jump boosts and all that crap.
You'll love Fortnite.
Like,
It's like
I
Hunger
hate
Games.
Hate Halo with a
This-
passion.
Really?
This is
Hate
like.
it. And I
this
hate
is
Call of Duty
crazy.
Modern Warfare too. I hate that game.
Oh, because of all the crazy
All
tech
that's
and
like
all the weird.
just I know what a shotgun does. Give me a shotgun. I know what a 1911 pistol does. I know
You'll
what that
love
does.
Fortnite.
I know what a sniper rifle
Yeah, I
does.
think you'd love Fortnite. You
Yeah.
like Minecraft.
No. My son talks about Minecraft.
It's
and
not
if-
Minecraft.
See, this is how you bond over Fortnite. It's a it's a shooter. That
we bond over Bible stories,
Oh,
Seth and I, because I love my son. So we talk about Jesus and we bond over that kind of stuff.
Somebody said the reason they don't do the Easter Bunny is the problem with the Easter Bunny and Santa is they always get the credit for the cool things that you bought your kids. Same,
testify.
yeah, for real.
Preach.
Every year it's like Santa did not get you that. Your mom and dad got you that with the money that we got from working our butts off. So you appreciate us.
Mom, Dad got you that with the $50 Visa card that our work gave us as a bonus.
Right?
Somebody said, so should I be mad about my parents scaring me to stay in bed at night? Otherwise the boogeyman would get me? Oh, man.
Oh, they hated the boogeyman.
La Llorona here in Albuquerque.
When I was a kid,
Oh.
because my parents didn't tell me this stuff, I was never scared of the boogeyman. I was scared of murderers. I'd come home and I'd be so terrified that there was a murderer hiding in the house.
What were you watching?
I don't know, but I was terrified of murderers. I was seriously, for about 5 years, I was terrified I was going to get murdered.
Man.
Like that there was like, I think what it was, honestly, like one of the movies that really creeped me out as a kid, I love it, was that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Last Action Hero.
Oh, yeah.
Loved that movie. But the villain in that movie scared the crap out of me.
He's a good villain.
The dude with like he had
the contacts, the fake eye? Or
no,
which
no,
one?
no, not that guy.
Oh.
The like creepy, bald, scraggly
Oh,
hair
yeah,
guy
yeah,
who like has the raincoat and like,
And
bro,
the
that
axe.
guy was terrifying.
Yeah.
I was convinced that guy was hiding in one of my closets and he was going to murder me. And in my head, that's how every murderer looked.
Yeah.
So if I like saw a hobo on the street who looked like that guy, he was going to murder me.
Yeah. Wearing a trench coat.
Bro.
Terrible.
It
That
is
guy is
still
so scary.
Somehow Shock Therapy Live. If you want to get a question in, 505-585 live. We got a question. And it's a huge question. They said for Steve-O. I have a huge question. I have a dilemma. It's opening day. I don't know what to do. Do I rock the red Angels shirt with the red hat, or the blue shirt with the red hat, or the blue shirt with the old Angels hat with the A with the wing? I'm at a loss. Need your help. I say the blue shirt. I say the blue shirt with the classic Angels hat with the A and the wing because it's like, hey man, I've been a fan for a long time. I loved that old logo. I know most people.
I read in
Disney
USA
logo.
Today that Mike Trout's for this year is the highest paid player in the MLB this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Such a great
Jack's trying to get our attention with this fake phone ring.
Good morning.
You and Daddy.
Oh, hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Shock Therapy Live. It's Brody. We normally don't like children.
Hey, Brody,
listening
this is
to
not a kid's
hour.
show. You're going to have to leave.
Yeah. What are you doing
So-
listening to Shock Therapy Live?
What's up, bud?
Hi.
That's not.
Hello?
Hi.
This isn't Brody.
Is that Brody?
No. Who is this?
My name is Seth.
Oh, man, it's my kid.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, no.
Were you calling for Brody? Who said Brody?
Oh, we just assumed
We
it was
just
Brody.
assumed it was a
but
kid's
somebody
voice.
said. Okay.
Seth,
No,
what's
he's
up,
I'm going
buddy?
to talk to my dad.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Go ahead. Now tell your kid to go.
Hi.
Hey, Seth, this is
Tell
not
my
a
kid
kid's
to
show.
go.
You're going to have to leave.
He listens every
No,
Thursday.
I want to know what question
Really,
you have.
bro?
No, I'm
Really,
just...
bro?
Really, bro? Oh, man.
Really, bro?
What's up, buddy?
What are you guys doing?
I mean,
We're
we're
on the
talking,
radio.
We're talking cool things like
We're talking about how the Easter Bunny's fake and how Dad loves you, and so he doesn't tell you about fake things like that.
and how he doesn't play bad video games because he doesn't want to
No,
I
no.
heard about the Call of Duty War.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh.
don't. Have I ever let you play Call of Duty before, though, Seth? Seth,
Answer
What?
wisely.
have I ever let you play Call of Duty?
I watched you play a lot of times.
You've watched me, but have I ever let you play it?
You let me play it once.
I never let you play it. What are you talking about?
You let him watch it,
I've
too?
I've let him play
Yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront, but I've never let him
Remember
play
you
Call of
let
Duty.
me play it once.
No, I've told you that you're allowed to play it when you're 13. That's what I told you.
I love this. Don't say the wrong thing. You're going to get grounded.
Children are truthful.
They are truthful.
Except that they have terrible memories.
What? What did you?
I play Star Wars.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
that's
do
true.
play Star
Mhm.
Wars.
What's your dad's favorite word around the
Oh,
house?
and I actually play Worms.
You play Worms. I
Yes,
do let him play
Worms
Worms.
is so great.
Because there's
Oh,
nothing
Because
terrible
you're
about
on teams of worms.
Yes, because when worms throw holy hand grenades at each other, it's hilarious.
What's the difference between watching and playing, though? You let him watch, but he can't play?
That's a good question. That's a good
There's
question.
something different between being the one shooting somebody and watching it happen.
That's true.
Ask Steve-O. He
Yeah,
knows.
This is very true. I can attest to this. Last week, can't tell the
I
story
remember
because
the
Seth's
time
on.
when I played Call of Duty.
Yeah.
You
Never
let me
played
play
that.
it once, but once
Yeah.
your guy died, I handed the controller to you.
It must have been when I was in the
I
restroom and you were
remember it.
disobeying. You're going to
Yeah.
have to get a spanking for that when I
Yeah.
get home.
Yeah.
And I remember what the island looks like.
Yeah.
I think you're making things up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Seth, you need to download Fortnite and play it with your dad. Okay.
Seth, you're very vocal on radio. I see a huge future for you in radio.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Did he go? He put
Hello?
the phone down. He left. He's playing Call of Duty.
Can we hang up on? Can we hang up on him?
Yeah. All right.
Goodbye.
If you guys were only talking about that stuff, I decided to have
Janae!
a child
Oh,
call
hey!
in.
We're sorry. We weren't on the phone with you. We're busy calling CYFD because we thought Nate's kids were alone.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that you're parenting well. Wait, what did you like? Hand him the phone and walk away? Taking a shower? What are you doing?
Kind of, yeah. I'm in the car driving, and so I thought, hey, if you guys.
Well, you should tell Seth that when he's on the phone, he needs to talk. There was long pauses of just silence.
It's just really bad radio. Brody does this too. We cut him off early this week. It was just bad.
I'm sorry. I told him to listen, but I think he was so intrigued and trying to hear himself on the phone or on the radio that I had to turn the radio off.
Well, that's the problem.
You're a terrible caller.
Dex has been saying this for years.
Yeah,
Turn your radio down. Hang up on yourself.
Just go.
Yep.
I did turn it off. He still wanted to hear himself. He was waiting for me to turn it back up, I think.
Perfect.
All right. Well, we're going to go now.
Thank you so much.
You got a question? You got a question
Thanks
for the show?
derailing our show.
Yeah, somebody texted in and said, what a waste of shock therapy.
Yeah, and you know what? I responded with
Exactly.
cool.
That's why I called in.
I responded
Yeah,
with
but
cool.
you called-
Got a question?
You called in to further derail it.
Yeah. Thank you for the call.
You didn't help us get back on track.
20 minutes deep. Now you're 30 minutes deep. So why don't you get to real life?
Well, we don't have any
Not video
questions.
world.
So why don't you take the speck out of your own eye? Before that's how it
You mean the
goes.
plank?
Yeah, get that.
Why don't-
out of my
Why
eye.
don't you?
Why don't you take this?
Why don't you just try to learn some scripture? Nick? Is that what you're saying?
Why don't you?
I got a
shut
question.
your mouth.
My friend's
Shut your
wife
mouth.
is obnoxious and won't leave us alone. We're trying to have guy time. How do I approach the situation?
Well,
That's true.
see-
I just used to crash your party. I should just
I
let
just-
it be, right?
Just mute her. Just
Guys,
mute her.
what do you do when you don't have a submissive wife?
Yeah.
How do you? How do you?
Gosh.
Go ahead,
do you
Nate.
do?
All right, go ahead, Dexter. Hang up on
Should
him.
I hang
All right.
up?
Yes,
Hey,
do it.
Janae.
I believe in you. Nate
This
says
isn't
it's
me.
okay.
This is Nate telling me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Come on.
Bye.
I'm doing it.
Oh.
We
Dex,
got
why
real
did you hang up
question.
on my wife?
I'm sorry. You told me to.
No, I didn't.
Now-
you
you're
took
not
that.
causing
Hey, we have
problems
a
at home.
real phone call. We have a real phone call. It's probably Brody.
Probably Janae. Good morning.
Morning. So,
Oh.
I have a question that might actually benefit the hour.
No,
Wow.
dope. Is it about Generation 1 Transformers?
No, it's not. It's actually about Christian life.
Okay.
So,
Very serious.
I'm graduating high school in May, and I'll be living in UNM's Rainforest, the new dorms they set up.
Mm.
And
Love their cafe.
the only reason why I'd be living there is the Navajo Nation leased out 2 floors for Navajo students, and I'm half Navajo, and we qualify for that.
Dude.
And
that's awesome.
Rooming with a Navajo roommate, and my Christian life is a pretty big part of who I am as a student and as a person. And my only concern is that I'll get a roommate who is like most young Navajo kids that doesn't believe in Christ, and that's not the major concern, but would actually heavily dislike me for being a Christian and believing in a quote-unquote white man's religion. How would I go about addressing that with the roommate and making sure that, I don't...
Well, first of all, I mean, one big thing, not that this is going to solve your problems, but if you ever get accused by your people of believing in a white man's religion, I would really quickly turn it that it is not a white man's religion.
That's literally the first thing I was thinking.
It wasn't founded or established by white men. It was founded and established by Middle Eastern men.
Yep.
So, I mean, first of all, that now again, that's not going to help you really in this battle or struggle, but it is going to at least turn the conversation into a place of a lot of times people want to accuse you of things, and they accuse you of things just because it becomes, the cultural way to approach it rather than it is the right way to approach it.
Yep.
And so that can hopefully turn the conversation on its head and help them to realize that they are kind of being bigoted in this standpoint. And it can kind of maybe cast light in a way that they haven't seen it yet. But honestly, what I would do is I think the answer to this would be the answer to living the Christian life in front of not just the Navajo nation that sometimes might despise you, but the world. I mean, the Bible says that the world's going to despise us for our beliefs. And so I think the answer to this is, man, let your light so shine before men that they will see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Don't get into like shouting arguments with whoever it is that you're going to be rooming with. I think just be a loving, good Christian. Let your good works, let your love. If this person gets mad at you, respond to them in love, not in anger.
Amen.
Show them the love of Christ written in your actions and your words and your deeds on a daily basis, and trust that when they see who you are because of Jesus, they're going to see that and be like, man, why is that person such a good person? Why is that person so nice and kind? Why are they so genuine and real? And I think that what's going to happen is, initially you might get flack, but eventually they're going to see, I truly believe your good works.
Yep.
And it's going to change their perspective on Christians. And think about this: you could end up being an ambassador and a spokesperson for Christianity to your people.
Heck yeah.
And you could end up showing them that Christians aren't this evil white man's religion that they probably believe, but Christianity really is a life-transforming thing that has not only given you an eternal destination, but it's made you a better person. It's given you a better life.
I got to give you a resource as well, man, if you want to write this down or if you can remember it. The book is called Eternity in Their Hearts. It's written by... and it was a resource that was given to me by a pastor here at Calvary. Pastor Neil gave this to me when I was working at...
Yeah, you literally were a white man working.
I was. I white dude working at a place called Kiwanis Broadcast Corporation. It was National Native American radio, where it was National Native News. It was Native America Calling, and I was literally the only white dude there, and was like, how do I talk to my new friends here, because everybody was from a different tribe, they had different cultural beliefs, and of course I was like the white Christian male dude that was kind of the antithesis of everything they liked. And it's a fascinating book because it talks about the fact that in Ecclesiastes it says that God has written eternity in our hearts, and if there's one thing that you guys can agree upon or discuss is that very idea of like religion within our culture, spirituality within our culture, or their tribe, or whatever it may be. And this dude studied cultures throughout the entire world and found within all of these cultures this evidence of this belief in a one true God and what that looks like and who the one true God is. And I'm telling you, man, Eternity in Their Hearts is a fascinating read, and it may very well help you, because I agree with Nate wholeheartedly. It's not a white man's religion, and culturally, people will just throw things at you because it's what they were raised to believe. It's because it's what somebody else told them, but they actually have no real knowledge about our faith. And if you can just be that love and that light and show them the transformation in you because of Jesus, it will speak volumes, man.
Okay, thank you. This has been kind of on my heart and on my mind for a while, just with it, graduation being close and going off and living away from my parents, which is something I want to do. It's just, it was concerning that I'd find something with someone who is from my tribe, and they'd find something and it would just about me, and it would just drive a wedge between the two of us.
Yeah. Yep. There you go, man.
Thanks,
man. I hope that helped.
Yeah.
It does. Thanks a lot.
All right, man. God bless.
We got a few people chiming in, actually, with Shock Therapy Live questions. If you'd like to chime in, 505-585-LIVE.
Isn't that funny how it happens? Like, we go through 30 minutes of show, no questions, and all of a sudden they all come in.
My favorite part is people are like, dude, the person that said, wasted show, people have real problems. I'm like, so ask a question. And then they hit me with a really good question. But it's like, guys, ask questions. That's the purpose of the show. And we didn't have any. Like, we literally, we were just hanging out.
And
we don't care.
I will say this too. This show was started, it's a call-in show.
Yeah.
So we started this show. We used to only take call-in questions.
That's right.
And so if you want your question answered, if you don't like the way the show is going, guess what? This is the 1 hour of morning show that literally there's no agenda.
Right.
You can steer the show in whatever direction you want to steer it.
Yep.
So if you don't like the way the show's going, you don't like the way it's
Change it.
sounding, call us and ask us a question, and you'll change the show.
Yeah.
By the way, the last caller that we just talked to, if you want Red or Tyson Motzenbacher tickets, you can text in and we'll.
Way to drop the ball there,
Sorry,
Dan.
my bad.
Gosh, man.
Oh, we'll get another phone call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Who's this?
no.
Is this Brett?
No.
Oh, thank God. I'm just kidding.
Sound like Brett.
I have a question for Nate Tysick on this show. Hi. I was getting some advice, dating advice from a friend of mine, and she was saying that anything outside of God's will is a sin. And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. And then she was saying, so if you date anybody unequally yoked, or if you marry somebody unequally yoked, it's a sin. So I was like, okay. But then the other day I was listening on your show, and you said, Nate, that verse is not necessarily it's not really a sin. It's more an advice kind of thing. So I'm a Christian. I don't want to go there with a guy. Like there's a certain guy I am looking for, who is seeking God and has a heart for Him and everything like that. But what got me was what triggered me was when you said that was when my friend said anything outside of God's will is a sin. So I'm wondering, can you give me a pastor outlook on that, or a pastor's approach on that?
Yeah, well, here's the thing with God's will. At times, it's really hard to discern God's specific will for your life. And so you get into a place where you say anything outside of God's will is a sin. What that creates, by saying that comment, is it creates a whole lot of uncertainty in your life when you say, man, am I in sin? And you're asking that question because you wonder if you're in God's specific will for your life. So let me just say this. Let's say God's will for your life is to have a certain job, and that's God's will for your life. That's what God destined you for. But you go through a season where you have a different job than that. Does that mean that you're sinning by not being in the job that was God's will for your life? Or let's say God's will for your life is that you're going to live in California, but you live in New Mexico. Are you in sin because you live in New Mexico? Well, I would argue that you're not. I would argue that God might chastise you and God might bring you to a place to where you're there, but I would argue that just because this is the thing with sin. When we get to sin, we got to get to very specifics in the Bible, things that the Bible literally calls sin. So when we get to this issue of do not be unequally yoked with another believer or with another person. I think that we're kind of in this middle ground where and I want to be clear here too. When I say sins, like, so I think a lot of Christians perceive sin or being in a sinful lifestyle as, oh, that person got unequally yoked. Oh, they're a sinner. They're not really a Christian. They're going to go to hell. Between something that you shouldn't do. So when the Bible says that you shouldn't do something, I agree that it's not just like advice, but it's a commandment. Hey, don't do this. But the reason behind the commandment isn't because the Bible is saying, hey, if you get unequally yoked, you're going to hell. The reason the Bible is saying that, they're giving that commandment because they're saying, don't do this because it will end badly for you.
Yeah, dude.
It is bad for you. So it's giving you commandments because it's saying, hey, this is bad for you. This is not good for you. And so the topic of being unequally yoked, when we're unequally yoked with a believer, it's not even necessarily that this is something that it's a sin against God necessarily. It's more a sin against us to a certain extent, and that it's bad for us. God's saying, don't do this because it's bad for you. Don't do this because it's harmful for you. Don't do this because it's hurtful for you.
Right.
And so when we're unequally yoked, the one we're really hurting is ourselves and our spouse when we're unequally yoked. And so God gives us this commandment to not do it because it's bad for us and because God cares for us and because he wants the best for us. And so, you know, that's kind of where I look at that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I look at, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. And,
I get it.
To add to it, I mean, I thought of in the book of Psalms, or the book of Psalm, we have so many different, not commands, but it's just like, hey, dude, listen, if you do this, this is going to happen. If you do this, this is going to happen. It's not like you're going to go to hell if you do this or that. But I immediately thought of Psalm 1 because there are times in our lives, right, where we need to seek counsel, right? Like we're stuck in a situation we don't know what to do, which is how this show was birthed. Nate and I were like, bro, there's not enough people in church like giving godly counsel and being real about it, you know, and there's some topics it's uncomfortable. Right. Nobody wants to talk about sex. Nobody wants to talk about what to do when you've got a porn addiction. Nobody wants to talk about all of these things. So where can we need to have an outlet for that. And that's how Shock Therapy Live came to be. Well, Psalm 1, I mean, talks about the fact that you will be blessed if you're a dude that doesn't walk in the counsel of the wicked or stands in the way of sinners or sits in the seat of the scoffers or mockers or whatever. But your delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. It talks about what that man's going to be like. It's like he's going to be like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in its season. And it's basically just telling you like, hey, seek good godly counsel, right? Like the people that you confide in, the people that you're hanging with, that you're walking through life with, allow those people to be those godly the people that you can trust and that you know will give you good counsel, because you don't want to be kicking it with the people that are going to give you terrible advice because it's going to do terrible things for your life. It's not like, hey, if you ask your coworker about your marital problems right now, you're going to burn in hell and it's a sin because you're seeking bad counsel. No, it's just like, hey, if you want good advice, get good advice from good people. And that's what I think of, like, all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial. I would immediately say, dude, I wouldn't be dating somebody with a crazy whack theology, even within my faith, because that's going to cause division. That's going to cause strife. Now you take it to another level of, I really want to get into a deep relationship with this person, but we don't even have the same ethics or moral standards or beliefs. And the problems that's going to cause probably far outweigh the Twitter patience that you've got in your heart right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I wouldn't take that as like you're going to burn in hell, it's a sin, but it's good advice not to.
Yeah, exactly. And a big thing with this too is we got to, anytime we look at the scripture, we got to look at it in context. We also got to look at it within the time period that it was written. So this passage, number one, this passage isn't a marriage passage, the being equally yoked.
Right.
It's 2 Corinthians chapter 6, and it's found in verse 11 through verse 18. And what it really is about holiness. Now, the word holy means to be set apart or to be separated. And this was written to the Corinthians. These were a group of Christians who were dwelling in a very pagan time, in a very pagan period, where people would worship in very pagan ways to pagan gods. And this passage is really written to them not being unequally yoked to any unbeliever.
Right.
Not just in marriage, but in business, in relationship, in friendship is really what it's speaking of. So the term unequally yoked, this passage, people use this as a marriage passage, but it's not a marriage passage.
Right.
When he says do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers, the more apt translation of that would be don't be mismatched. Don't have mismated alliances with them or come under a different yoke with them. So here's the concept that we got to think. When we're with Christ, we are yoked to Christ. We have this yoke that we would carry, and yoke would be a term that farmers would have known, or people who had horses, or they carry this yoke, and that yoke steers them and guides them and directs them because they're under the master's control. So when he says do not be unequally yoked, he's saying don't come under another's yoke. So if there's somebody who worships another god, I'm not going to come under their yoke. I'm not going to be unequally yoked with them because I cannot be yoked under their leadership and guidance because they serve a different leader and a guide, a different god. So what this most likely would have been speaking to would have been to people who were in Corinth, who would have been working with or close to people who worshiped false gods, and in order to do business with these people, they might go to their temple, or they might do certain cultural things that would put them under the yoke of their God rather than under the one true God. It's a very similar message that would have been spoken to the Israelites of not coming and worshiping false gods. And so a perfect example of this would have been when the children of Israel in the desert built a golden calf and worshiped it. That was becoming unequally yoked. They were putting on themselves a yoke of another god because they were becoming influenced by that culture. So this message is really a message of holiness, of being set apart from the worldly ways. Don't come under the yoke of these people's false gods and false religions. It's not a marriage passage.
Right.
Now, we can definitely extrapolate certain principles from it for marriage. And one of those would be, again, and if I was going to preach this at church, I would 100% preach, hey, if you're a Christian, do not date a non-believer. And I wouldn't say it as, hey, you probably shouldn't. I would say don't do it. And so, again, even though there's commandments, like when I tell my kid, don't touch the stove, I tell it to him because I don't want him to hurt himself. Not because if he does it, it hurts me. I tell it to him because it's for his own good. And so if I was going to preach this passage, I would preach it as a commandment, not as like a, hey, here's a suggestion. So perhaps when I spoke before, suggestion was a bad term to use in that standpoint. But I think it's kind of in this middle ground. It's not one of the 10 commandments and a sin in that standpoint. But I would definitely say it's a commandment not to do, but it's a commandment for our own good and for our own benefit.
Does that help?
Right. Yes, tremendously.
Word.
Thank you so much.
Of course,
Thank you for
anytime.
calling
Hey,
in.
do you want tickets to Tyson Matzenbacher or Red?
I'm actually going to Red on Saturday. But yeah, Tyson, who?
Matzenbacher. Tyson Matzentracker.
Hang on the line.
Hold on.
Okay.
That you can hold on, or you can hang up and text in, and we'll hook you up too if you don't want to hang on.
I can hang on.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, hold on.
Dude, you have such a tough job, Nate. I think it's difficult, and I think people forget that we hang out in here and we rock a show and we have fun, but people hang on like words, and so constantly talking and then needing to really think about everything we say because people will take that as like.
Well, the reason this comes up, and the reason why I say like,
I'm glad we
is it a mistake to become an equally yoked to non-believer? Yes.
Yeah.
But this is the reason why this question came up. With the standpoint we were taking it before is that I remember we answered this question. We were talking about homosexuality, and that the problem with a homosexual relationship is once you get married, you're still in sin.
Right.
As opposed to you brought up before. And I think it brought up that what about someone being unequally yoked?
Right.
Are they in sin while they're married? So in order to remedy that sin, should they get divorced?
Right.
Because a lot of Christians want to use this. Well, my husband's not a believer, so I want to divorce him.
I'm going to get divorced. Right.
That's why I say,
and Scripture actually touches on that. It's like,
it's not like when you're in marriage with a non-believer, you're constantly in sin. You're not like in a lifestyle of sin because you're married to a non-believer.
Right, that's not
Should you have
it.
done that? No. That was a mistake to have gotten married to them in the first place. But now that you're married, you're in it.
Right.
And the Bible even says that they might become saved.
Right.
Their unbelief might become belief because of you.
Yep.
So that's where I want to distinguish this. That is it a sin? Is it wrong to get married to an unbeliever? Yes. But once you do, it's not like you're constantly in sin and someone can't come to you and say, well, you're in sin because you're married to an unbeliever.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not the case. So that's where that's where it's one of these topics.
Well, and it's like written,
We've
a
got
couple
3 phone
thousand
calls.
years
Dang,
ago.
we're blowing up.
Yeah, a couple thousand years ago, and you're talking about like being unequally yoked, and it's not necessarily like a modern terminology.
No,
like
it's not.
unless you're like a farmer or something. So Teo and I, we used to do CrossFit together, and we were definitely unequally yoked because there was one time
why you gotta bring him
we
up?
had to remember you and I used to partner up together, and it was great until we were doing like something crazy with heavy weights because you have like tree trunks, and so you could like do back squats with like 100 pounds more than I could do. And so then if I had to partner up with you, I was crazy unequally yoked because then I just couldn't do the squats like you. And it was the worst. And who wants to partner with that? So that's the moral lesson. Don't partner with Chubbins because
just don't bring Teo's name.
No, that's a perfect example on the change in words though, and why that's a terrible illustration because that's not what the Bible was talking about at all.
Okay.
Hey, good morning. Save us.
Hi.
Only Jesus
I was
can
calling
save
in with a question, and I kind of think I'm going to open a can of worms, but
bring it.
Dope. We have 8 minutes.
I've had for a while, and it's just one that I can't seem to make sense of. My family is we're mostly Messianic Jewish, so basically we do a lot of the feast days, like we do Passover, which is coming up here pretty quick.
Yep.
And I've gone back and forth, especially with one thing, and it's why do Christians worship on Sunday? For a time I was like, well, it says that this is done away with, blah blah blah, and I rode my bike up to a church right up the street, and I went there for about a month and month or a half or so. And then I was thinking, as it says to keep the seventh day, and that's in the 10 Commandments. Like, it's like top 10 biggies, right along there with murder and lying and stealing and all of that. So can you maybe explain how that would change? Why that one commandment would suddenly become null and void?
Yeah, well, so you have to understand the heart of the commandment. So Jesus really gets into the heart of the commandments when he gets into Matthew in the Sermon on the Mount. And he extrapolates on the 10 Commandments, and he says, look, you've heard that it was said to not commit adultery, but I tell you, anyone who lusts after another woman in his heart is guilty of adultery.
Right.
You've heard that it was said that you should not murder, but I say if you hate somebody, you've already murdered in your heart. So the purpose of the 10 Commandments is to show our inadequacy to keep them. Is the purpose of the commandments. The purpose of the commandments isn't to make us holy. The purpose of the commandments isn't to make us righteous. The purpose of the commandments is to show us that we are not righteous and that we cannot be holy. And so that's why Jesus even shared in the Sermon on the Mount. Now, when we get into the New Testament, Jesus came and he said that he didn't come to abolish the law, but to fulfill the law. And so we've got to understand there's a huge amount of Old Testament commandments that are fulfilled in the name of Christ. So we get into the idea of, even in this idea of Messianic Judaism and fulfilling laws, now, fulfilling feasts, is there anything wrong with doing that? No. But what it is doing is it's bringing you back under the yoke of the law that Christ fulfilled. So we go to Romans chapter 14. So let's even take the idea of eating kosher. Is there anything wrong with eating kosher? No. But is it a necessity to be righteous? No, it is not.
Right.
Is there anything wrong with celebrating and worshiping God on Sunday? No. Is there anything wrong with worshiping God on Saturday? No. So we really get into the heart of this in Romans chapter 14. In Romans 14, it's a passage on the law of liberty. And it says this: receive one who is weak in the faith, but not to dispute over doubtful things. For one believes he may eat all things, but he who is weak eats only vegetables. Let not him who eats despise him who does not eat, and let not him who does not eat judge him who eats, for God has received him. Who are you to judge another's servants? To his own master he stands or falls. Indeed, he will be made to stand, for God is able to make him stand. One person esteems one day over another, Saturdays or Sundays, or observing feasts or not observing feasts. So one person esteems one day above another. Another esteems every day alike. Let each be fully convinced in his own mind. He who observes the day, observe it to the Lord. And he who does not observe the day, to the Lord he does not observe it. And so we get into the heart of this passage that, look, the heart of the commandment of observing a day, keeping the Sabbath day and keeping it holy, is to dedicate a day to the Lord. That's the heart of it. To take a day out of your week and dedicate it to the Lord. That's the heart of the commandment. And so whether that day is Saturday or Sunday or Wednesday, the heart of the commandment is that we're taking a day out of our week and we're dedicating it to the Lord. Now, Jesus Christ came to fulfill the law, not to abolish it. So the heart of that commandment still exists. Well, the letter of the law, just like, calling certain foods clean and unclean, just like the letter of that law is no longer binding us to find our righteousness through that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I'm very familiar with Romans 14. I've read it, and it's like, it says, I know it says, let one man esteem another day over another, and another person esteem another day. But is it talking about a Sabbath, I guess you would say, keeping a day to the Lord? And why does that one commandment change? How does that affect the rest of the Ten Commandments? Because, like, we all know murder hasn't changed. Murder is murder. Lying hasn't changed. Lying is, it's not like, oh, well, now you can, say, little white lies are fine.
But I think Nate answered that because he was talking about the heart of it.
The heart of the law.
The heart of the commandment was to esteem a day, like to keep your worship holy, to set apart a day to worship our God, right? To keep the Sabbath holy. I think what you're doing is taking that word Sabbath literally and saying, they meant Saturday. It meant Saturday. And that's not what Jesus was saying when Jesus was talking about that, even to the heart of murder, to the heart of adultery, that if you look at a woman with lust in your heart, you've already committed that sin. Does that make sense?
Right.
So...
Yeah, it does.
Because even when we get into this idea of, let's use another Hebrew word that means a specific thing, but that the New Testament changes. So the Bible uses Old Testament constantly a word called tithing. Now the word tithe literally is a tenth, to give a tenth. Now we also know that according to Jewish tradition, they didn't just give of the tithe. They gave of a lot of separate offerings. It would have equated more to about 35% of what they earned they would be giving to the Lord. It wasn't just the tenth. It wasn't just the tithe. Yeah. Now we get into the New Testament, and the Bible changes that, and it says, let each man give according to his own heart, but give in joy. So it changes it, and it's still keeping the heart of giving a tithe, a portion of our income, but it changes it from the literal tenth to each man give according to his own heart. So again, we see this transformation in the New Testament of keeping the heart of the law, the heart of certain commandments. Well, not necessarily saying, look, you've got to keep the letter of these certain commandments. And we got to keep in mind the 10 commandments are important, but they weren't the only commandments that God gave in the Old Testament. God gave many commandments, and many of those commandments, God later on in the New Testament said, look, don't call unclean what I've called clean in certain food and whatnot. So when we look at the entirety of the Old Testament, we got to look at the entirety of it in reference to why Jesus came and what Jesus fulfilled in his coming.
Thanks for the call, man.
All right, thanks for answering my question.
You bet, anytime, man. We'll see you.
Hate that we're out of show because we got a great question about a wife whose husband is in charge of the money and doesn't tithe, and she doesn't know what to do about it because she very greatly believes in tithing. But he's in charge of the finances and says it's Old Testament.
Yeah, well, definitely get into that.
Yeah.
All right, next time.
We had more phone calls,
We had so many phone calls. We had so many. Thanks, guys, for waiting until 9:35.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Bye, Nate. By the way, go to my Instagram and Facebook page because it totally looks like you have a peg leg.
Okay.
Me?
Yeah, you got to go to my Instagram and Facebook page. Seriously. Dex Top, guys, go follow me.
I feel like you say that every show now.
What are you talking about?
To go to your Instagram. Are you thirsty, bro?
I am thirsty. I'm also on Snapchat. Are you on Snapchat?
No.
Okay. Hey, guys, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
That's all we got. There ain't no more. That's right. Time is tight. It's the end of the show.
A Star 88 Supernova with Greg Laurie.
You know, if Jesus wanted to, he could have raptured you on the day of your conversion. That'd have been kind of cool. Just pray this prayer. Lord Jesus, I know I'm a sinner. I commit my life to you. I choose to follow you from this moment forward in Jesus' name. Whoa. Wow. But that doesn't happen, does it? He leaves us here to live in this world. Why does he leave us here? Why doesn't he just take us home? Because he wants to reach this world through us. I don't know why, but God has chosen to primarily reach non-believing people through believing people. He has chosen to communicate his love and spread the gospel through us doing it, and specifically through our verbal communication of it.
Catch Greg Laurie's teaching show, A New Beginning, on our sister station, KNKT, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. on 107.1 FM.
So, what problems do you wrestle with? Finances? Relationships? Guilt over the past? Anxiety over the future? No doubt these cause stress, but nothing compares with one major issue everyone faces: death.
If there is a resurrection, death just died.
Easter sunrise at UNM Stadium with Skip Heitzig, with worship by Battle Drums and Sarah Reeves. This Easter can be a life changer for you. Easter sunrise, 7:30 a.m. April 1st at UNM Stadium.
Death is conquered. You see, when Jesus died on a cross, he conquered sin. When Jesus rose from the grave, he conquered death itself.
All the information about Calvary Easter events at EasterABQ.com.
This is Star 88 at 88.3 FM, KLYT, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and online at star88.fm.
Have you ever seen the wonder in the glimmer of first sight? As the eyes begin to open and the blindness meets the light. If you have soul, say, I see the world in light. I see the world in wonder. I see the world in light, bursting in living color. I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. Have you ever seen the wonder in every second life? Have world your way, and I'm not afraid to follow. I see the world your way, and I'm not ashamed to say so.